without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and darkness comprehended it not. I just read to you John, first chapter 1 through 5. May the Lord have a blessing to reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, now we have a selection or two. Okay.
being 40 days tempted of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And in those days he did eat nothing.
Uh-huh.
And when they were ended, he afterward hungered.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, command this stone that be made bread.
Okay, so now one thing we have to understand is, first and foremost, Satan is trying to come. Make sure you check that for me, Tony, if you don't mind. Satan coming to, tempt Jesus now. And we didn't have to read all this, but I just like to kind of point out how we deal with Satan, sisters and brothers, because he's going to come at you nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Come at you at your weakest point. You know, Jesus, he fasted 40 days and 40 nights. And the first thing Satan say to him, he said, the devil said to him, if you be the Son of God, command this stone that it be made bread. But he going to tempt him, in the area where he weak at, right? But go ahead, read what it say, verse 4.
And Jesus answered him, saying,
Uh-huh.
It is written, that man should not live by bread alone, but by every word of God.
Right, so outside of your daily food, there's something else that you need, sisters and brothers. We just talking about this word, but notice how Jesus fights Satan off. He's going to do it several times, but I like to point this out so you can pay attention to how it's being done when Satan come at you. Look, you ain't got to worry about spitting in the devil's eye, kicking him in the head and all that type of stuff. People think they can beat Satan. Look, we can't, listen, the only way you're going to do with Satan, sisters and brothers, is with the word of God. And this is what Jesus is showing. This is a great example, right? Jesus asked him, saying, it is written, first and foremost, it is written, lets you know that it's in the Old Testament somewhere. See, when Jesus them came on the scene, they wasn't dealing with the New Testament, sisters and brothers. So why is he saying it is written? Because, hey, it was already written down in the prophets. Matter of fact, in Old Testament, Deuteronomy 8, if I'm mistaken. He said it is written that man shall what?
I live by bread alone.
Uh-huh.
But by every word of God.
That's right. So this is how we need to live. But one thing, like I say, the way you're going to fight Satan, you're going to fight him by the word of God. That's how you fight him. Because remember now, the weapons of our warfare are not what? Not carnal. You're going to have to fight him with the word of God. What else to say, brother? Verse 5.
And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
Keep reading.
And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered to me, and to whomsoever I will give it. Right,
so now pay attention. At this particular point, right now, sisters and brothers, who runs the world? Who is the world, whose hand has the world been given into? Satan, right? So,
Lord of the air.
Absolutely. So that should let you know that, hey, because what comes with Satan? Death comes with Satan, sickness, killing comes with Satan, all these different evil things come. Now, of course, God is behind the scene. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, matter of fact, and that got to do a lot with entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And, airwaves and all that. But, I ain't going to get into that. But like I said a few weeks ago, some of the things we reach for music. We reach for football and basketball and stuff like that. But you better pay attention to what God is saying, Satan is saying to God. If he tempt God and tell him, look, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you all these kingdoms in a moment of time. What you think he going to tell that, that neighborhood football player, that neighborhood basketball player? He want things to change. I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm just saying for people that, have your priorities set on trying to reach those goals, look, have your sights set on serving God. That's more important because, look, all this stuff going to fade. This is all bad. It's all going to fade at some point, But he said, when the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee. That should let you know that he's running it. He got the power. When Adam dropped the ball, guess who it was passed to? Now Satan got it. The devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. Go ahead and read. What else?
Thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine.
Right, but notice what he told the Lord. He said, if you worship me, all of this will be yours. That's why I say, don't be deceived now. Don't be deceived by the glitz and the glamour and the things that look nice. Like I say, you think people work hard for all these millions. There be some things going on behind the scenes, sisters and brothers. But what is that in verse 8, though?
Jesus answered and said unto him, get thee behind me, Satan.
But notice how Jesus is fighting, though. I want to make sure we point this out. How's he fighting? He's fighting with the word, right? You had Satan come with some word. Satan hit him with some word in verse 4. It is written. I mean, which one was it? Let's see here. I'm trying to see which verse it is. that he actually said it. Oh yeah, verse 10. He hit the Lord with a scripture, Psalms 91. But this is how you're going to fight him. Don't be deceived, though, because Satan he know book too. But you got to know some book as well. That's why I see a lot of brothers coming to the word. You know what I'm saying? A lot of sisters coming to the word and get deceived by some of the people we see out here. Like, it be, like Paul said, all Israel ain't Israel. Like we see some of these brothers out there, the ISUPK, IUIC and stuff. Look, you know what Paul said, even, mouths that need to be stopped. He talking about among us, sisters and brothers. But how you know if it's right or wrong if you're not in the book? So you're going to have to get in the book to be able to identify whether it's right or wrong. So he said, Jesus answered and said to them, get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, taking you back to the Old Testament, thou what?
Shall worship thy Lord thy God.
Uh-huh.
And him only shalt thou serve.
Right, but I wanted to come here to show you that who has the world right now. And based on this, sisters and brothers, we need a new world to come, but not the new world that the world is thinking about, that man is thinking about. We need a new world where the Lord is going to come and set up righteousness in this earth, sisters and brothers. And then ultimately, when it's said and done, take away this corruption that man is, being oppressed by. Because at some point, hey, if we don't live to see the coming of the Lord, you know what's coming, right? Death is coming, you see? And that's oppression for every man. Even though you may not be experiencing, hardcore oppression, we may not be struggling and dying like people in other countries, ain't got no food and stuff like that. But every man, for the most part, besides one we know of, got this death lingering over them. And that's why Paul, who shall deliver me from this body of death? And I thank the Lord Jesus Christ. He's the one that's going to do it. But we need to be delivered from this, sisters and brothers. But now let's move a little further. Let's go on to Psalms 82. Psalms 82, because when it's all said and done, we're going to see something completely new. At the finish of it, we're going to have everlasting life, sisters and brothers. That's when the Lord, when Jesus gets here, he's going to start it off. He's going to start off a change in this world. But when the Father get back, hey, when no more death is on the table, no more sickness, no more tears, hey, that's going to be a change, something that we've never experienced as far as mankind is concerned. But Psalms 82, we're going to pick this up at verse 1. When you get it going, read that for me.
God standeth in the congregation of the mighty.
Uh-huh.
He judgeth among the gods.
Uh-huh. So it said God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judged among the gods. So in this case right here, he's just talking about other men. He said he stand in the congregation of the mighty. He judged among the gods. Go on and read what else?
How long will you judge unjustly?
Now pay attention to what the question is. He said, how long will you judge unjustly? What else?
And accept persons of the wicked.
Uh-huh. Because we'll rather accept, unrighteous things, wicked things, as opposed to righteousness. That's where, mankind as a whole, that's just how this world is right now. Who really wants to deal with commandments? Who want to deal with keeping the law? You look around the world, for the most part, nobody want to follow God, sisters and brothers. But he said, look, how long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? And I just kind of think about how the court system is ran today. If you got some money, you can get off, can't you? You got some bread, you can get off. You ain't got no money, like I said, they're going to give you a public defender. We call them public pretenders. But hey, that's the world we live in. He said, how long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah, what else?
Defend the poor and the fatherless.
Mm-hmm.
Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
That's right. That should be on our agenda, sisters and brothers. That should be our concern. But you look at the world, the concern is mainly what? We worrying about war. That's why Pac said before he died in one of his songs, he said, what? We got money for war, but can't do what? Can't feed the poor. He was telling the truth. That's exactly, and it's still the same today. He said, defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. But you don't see that going on. This is why we're going to need a change to come. What does it say in verse 4, brother?
Deliver the poor and needy.
Uh-huh.
Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
That's right. Keep reading.
They know not, neither will they understand.
Uh-huh.
They walk in the darkness.
That's right. Go ahead.
All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
Notice what he say. He say, not some of the foundations. He said, all the foundations of the earth are out of course, right? So this should let you know in your mind, hey, we need something new. Something better than this, right? Because all the foundations of this earth are out of course. So you shouldn't be surprised by wickedness. You shouldn't be surprised by all the evil that's going on. But hey, it ain't going to be like this forever, though. He said, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Just read verse 6. It ain't on here, but read that.
I have said ye are God.
But I just wanted to show you, because like we, in the beginning when I said this talking about man, just wanted to show you what it, just prove it. He said, I have said ye are gods, and what else?
And all of you are children of the Most High.
But what's going to happen?
But ye shall die like men.
That's right, because look, man wasn't supposed to die. That was not on the plan for man to die. But what happened when sin came on the scene? Death came. You see what I'm saying? If Adam would have never sinned, you eat from the tree of life, hey, it only makes sense. The fruit you're going to have is life, right? But hey, you go against what the Lord say. He said, the day you eat up the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you shall surely die. And that's what has been happening to man. But he said, I said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but you shall die like men. So hey, we are now experiencing death, sisters and brothers. It's all we know for the most part, as far as men is concerned, is death. I came up, seen, grandparents die, some friends die, people get sick and die, sisters and brothers. This is what we know as men. So we can't even imagine a world where everlasting life came. Can you think how that's going to be? You get attached to people, become close to people, and next thing you know, out of nowhere, the Lord take them. That hurt, don't it? But think about what's coming, the world coming where we ain't got to worry about death no more. That's why it's so important for us to keep God's commandments, because we trying to get in the kingdom. But look, this is what we experience as men, and this is why we need a new world. What he said, go to Proverbs chapter 29. Just setting this foundation, showing you that this world needs to change. We need a change. We need something better than what we have right now. Proverbs 29. You guys able to hear it?
Yeah, it sounds good. It's glitching in and out as far as the stream, so it's cutting the video.
So it's still doing that?
Yeah, it's clipping. The camera's good. It's actually
It's literally what I've been saying from the beginning. We just got to use the newer laptop.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll talk to Elijah about that, because he said, you got one? Okay, good. All right, Proverbs 29. Or do y'all need to sweep it? Y'all need to sweep that computer? Okay, Proverbs 20. You be using the big words on me, boy. Optimize. Sweep the same thing, right? All you had to do is say, yeah, brother, we need to sweep it. So optimize. It's all good. I gotta catch up to the lingo. Proverbs 29. Read verse. What it say, brother?
Well, the righteous are in authority.
He say when the righteous are in authority, and that's what's coming. When the righteous are in authority, and we ain't talking about Barack. Everybody thought that was Jesus, but all black people did. Ain't do nothing for us, but they passed more gay laws than anything, didn't he? He said when the righteous are in authority, matter of fact, even this president now think he the chosen one. I say, man, what is going on, boy? He say he the chosen one, and the Jews like him. When the righteous are in authority, what happened? The people rejoice. Why? Because look, hey, for the most part, it's going to be even across the board. Just think about Solomon. Solomon had his, even Sheba had to come check that out, didn't she? She heard about it. When she came and saw it herself, she was like, hey, what they told me, that don't even compare to what I'm seeing. But his servants will even have it. That's why I tell brothers, look, when you're trying to run your household, you come home and everybody run, look, you need to be a king in your own house first. We talk about being heads and all that type of stuff, but you should be able to run your house well. You shouldn't come home and everybody go in the room and shut the doors and stuff like that. Everybody should be happy to see you when you come home. That's how you know you're doing it right. Because that's what was going on with Solomon, right? Everybody want to be kings and stuff like that, but look how Solomon ran his stuff. They said all his servants were happy. So he said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but what happened?
When the wicked bears rule,
the
people mourn.
And that's what we got going on today, sisters, man. We got the wicked bearing rule all over the world. The Lord gave it to the Gentiles, sisters, and they run in the world, just like with the Hamites. But just pay attention to what happened with Israel, because look, it got to come to an end at some point. Just like with Israel being in captivity for 400 years in Genesis 15, the Lord told him about it. But he told Abraham, look, they was going to be in this captivity until iniquity of the Amorites is full. So, hey, that 400 years that we're referring to, that was back then. I ain't talking about right now. However, the time we in right now, you know, Lord said we was going to be led away captive into all nations until the times of who? The Gentiles be fulfilled. You know, so at some point when sin reach a level where it can't go no more, the Lord going to bring it to an end, sisters and brothers. And that's exactly what's about to happen. Ain't nobody really paying this attention, but you really think the Lord going to sit up here and allow sin to keep on going on like this? Come on now. He knocked off the people in Noah's days. Then he turned around and compare us to that generation, which we're going to look at. But he say, look, we worse than that, sisters and brothers. So that should let you know at some point he going to shut this thing down, sisters and brothers. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I think I put out something last week how I saw it. I can't remember where I saw it. Probably a brother page on Facebook. How it's a law that was passed in Chicago next year in Illinois that it's law now that they have to teach LGBT history. It's a law now. So now it's like they ain't worrying about you no more, Brother Vincent. They ain't worrying about you, Addison, me, Judah, you know, the older brother. What's his brother name? Anthony? I don't know why I'm about to say Kevin. Brother Anthony. They ain't worrying about it. We getting up there. They worrying about the younger generation now. You see what I'm saying? But the Lord gonna have to put an end to this thing. The very thing that he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah over. Look, we there. We done came full circle. We a whole lot worse. But flip over to Genesis chapter 6, sisters and brothers. Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6. I was about to call you Brother Tony, man. I'm sorry. Golly, boy. You get older, man. That mind. Genesis chapter 6, we're going to pick this up at verse 3. Well, you can start at verse 1. Ain't going to hurt none. Genesis 6 and verse 1. Read it for me.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose.
That's right. Keep reading.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Right, so we're just talking about, you know, men and women getting together. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about angels sleeping with women in this case right here, because a lot of people like to say that. But, you know, all you got to do is go back to Genesis chapter 4. You see what happened after Cain dropped the ball. Then it starts picking up with Seth. You know, then you go into Genesis chapter 5, and in Genesis chapter 5, it takes you through the lineage from Adam all the way down. You see what I'm saying? Then, hey, it's going to pick right back up where it left off at the end of Genesis 4. Because it tells you at the end of Genesis 4, and when Seth came, then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. So, hey, anybody that came out of Seth, these would be the sons of God. Daughters of men will be coming out of Cain, sisters and brothers. That's all it's talking about. Well, sometimes, look, we put more on things than we have to. We want to be so spiritual and stuff like that. That's a false doctrine. That did not happen. That's why I said it came to pass when men, not angels, began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And just keep in mind, like, look, like it tells in Romans chapter 8, around verse 14, you know, those who are led by the Spirit of God are what? Are the sons of God, right? Something like that. But are the sons of God. You know, so that's all we talking about. If you follow in the word of God, hey, you going to be considered a son of God. You know, you following Satan, regardless of you being an Israelite, that don't make a difference, right? Remember what the Lord told the Pharisees in John 8, verse 4-4, right? You know, they're talking about they trying to kill him. He's like, you know, if we Abraham's seed. He's like, look, if you Abraham's seed, you wouldn't be trying to do what you're doing to me. So you ain't Abraham's seed. You're of your father, the devil. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, that's just going to show you, hey, you can be a devil's child without an angel sleeping with a woman. Or you can be the son of God without an angel sleeping with, you know, a woman is, you know, that ain't got to happen. We just talking about, hey, whatever word you following, if you following the word of God, look, you son of God. You following Satan, hey, you a son of Satan. Child of the devil, sisters and brothers. But that's all we talking about. So let's see here. He's saying the Lord said that the son, verse 2, read verse 2 again.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men. Were fair.
Go ahead.
And they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, but he also is flesh.
Keep reading.
Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Oh, now notice what's going to happen now. Now look, even now today, 120 years, that's a long time, right? Now you take it back to a time frame when we living, when they was living 900, Methuselah, the oldest man, 969 years. Adam lived, he was up in the 900. That's a long time. But now God is cutting this time down to 120 years because it's starting to get out of hand. The Lord said, look, hey, my spirit ain't going to always strive in man. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this time down to 120, right? His days shall be 120 years. What else? Verse 4.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
I'm sorry. Read verse 5.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Keep reading.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth. And it grieved him at his heart.
Right. So giants in those days, we just talking Amalekites and stuff like that. We ain't talking about, because people like to actually, you see people digging up artifacts, and trying to make it seem like these angels and stuff slept with women, and you still, listen, it don't work like that with angels. They don't lay down with women. They don't got blood like men do, sisters and brothers. But that comes from, all these different religious thoughts, out of different schools of thoughts as far as theology school and stuff like that, and even going back to conspiracy theories and stuff like that. That's where all this doctrine comes from. But the point of coming here is to show you saying that God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that what?
Every imagination of the thought of his heart was only evil continually.
Right, so it's like you got somebody just sitting up, just thinking of ways to do evil. What was that guy name on, what was that guy name? He do his thing like this? Like a Vorkian. I can't remember it. What was it, the mini-me? What was it? What was that? Well, he just think there, But I can just imagine, but when I read that, I just think about a man just sitting in this room messing with some science project, but you just think about it, they be behind the scenes just, and man, period, this is how we are. He said, look, this how it was back then. He said, God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And we even worse today, right? But what did he say? What did I say, brother? Read that.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth.
Now that's bad, though, ain't it? The Lord regretted, or it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Keep reading, though.
And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them.
Now notice what happened once man's heart is only evil continually. Now what the Lord is going to do? The Lord finna kill him, ain't it? So this has to be something that rings a bell in your mind, because guess what? We done got back here full circle today, but the Bible gonna let you know, look, we worse than this. So not too long from now, hey, you got to know that God is getting ready to change some things in this earth. But he said, it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I've created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repent me that I made them. Keep reading.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
Notice what it says. He said, Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. That's to let you know, look, hey, grace ain't just something that came around in the New Testament. Grace has always been around. But the grace we looking for, we acting like, we act like nowadays the grace that God gives us, that just gives us an opportunity to sin. That ain't what grace is about, sisters and brothers. The grace that God has given you, that's an opportunity for you to get yourself together, because he should have killed you on the spot. But he has some mercy, in other words. Or he has some grace, giving you a second chance, right? That don't mean you can go out and, party over here, party over there because you got some grace. That's what they saying in the churches, ain't they? Yeah. You can live how you want to live. We under the grace of God. No, sisters and brothers, anytime you have some grace, really we just talking about some mercy. At this point, hey, man had already sinned when Adam dropped the ball. So he should have killed everybody. But he had some mercy there. And then even during this time, hey, all this wickedness that's going on in the world, the Lord still had mercy on somebody. He didn't wipe the whole creation out, did he? He allowed Noah to start things over. However, though, he's getting ready to bring some destruction by sending this water. Skip down to verse 11 and read it for me. What does it say, brother?
The earth also was corrupt before God.
Uh-huh.
And the earth was filled with violence.
Uh-huh. And what happened at this time? Look, the Lord is now getting ready to step in. He going to tell Noah to build an ark. But notice what he going to do. He not going to tell Noah, look, I'm going to bring you off to heaven. I'm going to rapture you off. I ain't going to do none of that. Hey, God don't got to take you nowhere to save you. That's what we've been taught. We looking forward to that. Look, everybody trying to get the land of Israel, and we're looking forward to dying going off to heaven somewhere. When God done promised us the promised land. What everybody's fighting over. But God ain't got to take you off to heaven somewhere to save you. Notice what he did with Noah, though. He told Noah to build a boat, a ship, an ark, sisters and brothers. So go right into Genesis chapter 7 and pick this up at verse 6. Genesis chapter 7, we're going to pick it up at verse 6. All right, go and read that for me, brother. What it say?
And Noah was 600 years old.
Uh-huh.
The flood of waters was upon the earth.
That's right, because now, hey, he done brought this water. Noah built the ark. And it said Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon earth. Keep reading.
And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with them, into the ark because of the waters of the flood.
All right, skip down to verse 10.
And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven broken.
Uh-huh, keep reading.
And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
Now just imagine that. Lord didn't open up the sky, and he opened up water coming from everywhere at this point. But 40 days and 40 nights. Now this because you got evil on the hearts and then continually. All type of sin going on. Now the Lord is getting ready to destroy it. At this point, he's destroying the world. So we need to look at this so we can understand and realize that, look, if we doing all this sin, all this killing, this stuff going on, mass shootings, adultery, fornication, ain't got to keep no laws, all this stuff that is happening in the world, you think God ain't sitting high looking low and watching this stuff? If he allows this to continue on like this, then what happened back in Genesis chapter 6 and 7, hey, that was unnecessary, right? But just like we say, Jesus Christ, he the same yesterday, today, and forever. Then we turn around and say he wouldn't do that to the children. Look, this was Jesus. You better find out about him. Remember you said he wouldn't change. He don't change. He'll kill you then, he'll kill him then, he's going to kill him now. He didn't like it back then, and he don't like it now as well, because he don't change. What it say at verse 21, brother?
And all flesh died that moved upon the earth.
Oh, notice what happened. He said all flesh died. But he had to stop it. He put an end to it, sisters and brothers. And all flesh died. What else?
That moved upon the earth.
Uh-huh.
Both of fowl and of cattle and of beast and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Uh-huh.
And every man.
That's right. Keep reading.
All in whose nostrils the breath of life.
Uh-huh.
All that was in dry land died.
That's right. Go ahead.
And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground.
Uh-huh.
Both man and cattle and the creeping things and the fowl of the heaven.
Go ahead.
And they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive.
Mm-hmm.
They that were with him in the ark.
Right. But, hey, you see that grace that Noah found because, hey, it saved him, his wife. Then on top of that, it was his 3 sons, their 3 wives. So, hey, the Lord saved 8 people. But, you know, during that time, hey, Lord knocked off everybody else. That's kind of like it's going to be this time around. Compared to, you know, all the people that's in the world today. After the Lord finished allowing this death to come on this earth, ain't going to be that many people left. But he going to start it all over again. Don't do it just like he did. He going to start all over again, sisters and brothers. Going to Matthew chapter 24. We're going to come back here. Matthew chapter 24. We're going to pick this up at verse 8. So we can see where we are, sisters and brothers. Notice how the Lord likened this generation that we're in right now to that generation back then. But Matthew chapter 24. And if you don't know what goes on in Matthew chapter 24, this is where, you know, they came to show Jesus the buildings of the temple. They was excited about it, you know, about Solomon's temple, the rebuilding of it, you know, and they come and show Jesus. And he mainly reigned on their parade. So see not all these things. It ain't going to be left here one stone upon another that should not be thrown down. So, hey, the obvious question is, well, when shall these things be regarding the temple being destroyed? What shall be the sign of your coming That right there should let you know it's going to be a second coming because he was already there. And they asked him, what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? So these are very important things that the Lord going to go into. Luke chapter 21 is going to really go into the destruction of the temple. Luke 21, Luke 19, that's going to hound more on the destruction of the temple. But Matthew 24 is going to really speak more toward his second coming and the end of the world. So Matthew 24, let's pick this up at verse 8 because, hey, they asked him about certain signs and Jesus went on to tell them about it. So what is saying in verse 8, brother? Read that for me.
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
That's right, because right before that he said you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. But look, all this stuff is just the beginning of sorrow. Earthquakes in diverse places, we see that going on. But look, we ain't even got to where things are getting ready to pick up yet. He said, all these are just the beginning of sorrow. And this stuff been going on for a long time happening. You know, I remember 1991, Operation Desert Storm. Y'all remember that? Some of y'all a little older, y'all remember that, right? Got into that, then got into something else. What was that we got into in 2001? Desert Storm was 91, wasn't it? 91. Then 2001, we got off into another war. You know, but it's always something. Always something. It's going to be going. The Lord say, look, don't worry about that. That's just the beginning of sorrows. Ain't no need for you to, really trip. But still pay attention, though. Still pay attention to the things that are going on around you. But what is saying in verse 9? Read that, please.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted,
and
shall kill you,
and
ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Keep reading.
Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another.
But notice what he say. He say they gonna be offended. What? For whose sake?
For my name's sake.
For my name's sake. What name we talking about though? And look, we ain't really. It's a lot of people that believe in Jesus, don't they? A lot of people that believe in the name of Jesus. Make sure I say that. Because a lot of people, they going to call on Jesus the main thing. But where does the offense really take place at? When you walk through the door. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to say, I don't need pork no more. Right. You think you're better than us now. Like, dude, I ain't even say nothing. All I did was say, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? You going to get that, I promise you. But hey, it's because you following, not just claiming or saying his name, but you following and doing what he say. For some reason, that's a problem to everybody. You ain't got to say nothing. That's a problem. But he say what? And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and what else?
And shall hate one another.
Keep reading.
And many false prophets shall rise.
So we ain't lacking in the area today at all of them. He said, many false prophets shall rise. What else? And shall deceive many. This is what you need to be careful about, though. Because even in this question right here, when these first three questions were presented to the Lord, first thing he said, don't be deceived. He didn't say, watch out for the adulterer, watch out for the murderer, watch out for the thief. He said, look, don't be deceived. That's to let you know, it's very important for you to guard that mind of yours. Because you let deception get in there, man. Ain't no telling what you do. But you got to watch that. He said what? And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Not a few. He said they're going to deceive many. That's why, look, you think about it. Broad is the way to destruction, and narrow is the way to salvation. So it ain't going to be, like he said, in few there'll be that find it. What else he say, brother? Go ahead.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
And clearly that's what we are today. He said because iniquity, sin, it's going to be great. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And like I said a few weeks ago, look, I come from a time where, my father could stop the car and pick somebody up and wasn't no problem. We didn't have back in our day, we didn't have cell phones. You at school and you watch somebody get beat down almost to death. You just pull out the phone and where else and just pull the phone out and just record it. Because that's what they do nowadays. They yell it. I can't believe that. They sit up there and yell it. Just like pull out the phone. Somebody getting beat. World star. Like, really? But that's the world we're living in, though. As opposed to helping or stopping that from taking place. We in this world where, look, iniquity has abounded and the love of men is waxing cold, sisters and brothers. But the Lord is letting you know things that's going to identify us coming to the end. Because in order for us to, enter into a new world that Jesus is going to rule, this right here got the end. Look, Jesus ain't going to come and be hanging out with Trump. You know, Netanyahu, they partners and stuff. No, he gonna knock these kings down and set something up totally different. A whole new world. But who want to know about that? Ain't nobody talking about that new world. We so worried about man and what they doing. Look, God controls it all. He gonna knock all these kings down. But going to Matthew chapter 12. Matthew chapter 12. We're going to pick this up at verse 38. Matthew 12. Did we read verse 12? What verse 12 say?
21 to 23.
Oh, were we?
12 says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax.
Where you got 21 through 23? That's in Genesis. It's all good. It's all good. So now Matthew 12. We're going to pick this up at 38. Matthew 12 and verse 38. Let's see what's going on here, because the Lord in this case, right, He gonna liken us to, or liken this generation, or give you an analogy of how this generation is compared to a certain type of man. We're going to see that though. Matthew 12, pick it up at verse 38, brother. What does it say?
Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we will see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign.
And what did it say? He said, look, an evil and adulterous generation seek after a sign. You got it right here in front of you. You know, do y'all need to see the Lord come down from the sky to believe that He's real? Right. So we can get into the Bible, and the Lord, you know, in our minds, the Lord ever, you know, showed us things in our mind. We can receive it just like it is. We don't got to do. You ain't got to show me no magic tricks. I don't need to bend a hand y'all do it. You know, y'all come up and I, you know, hit y'all with coats and all that type of stuff. I don't need that, do we? You know what I'm saying? But he said, look, even in the adulterous generation seek after a sign. That's why they fill up all these churches. You know, because they number lying and entertainment going on. People like to see that. But the simple thing, just keeping God's law. We can't do that, can we? Not us in here, but I'm just saying, man as a whole, they can't do the simple thing. He said, what, an evil and adulterous generation seek after a sign. What else?
And there shall no sign be given to it. But the sign of the prophet Jonah.
Right, I ain't going to give you no sign, but if you want one, I'll give you one sign. It's going to be the sign of the prophet Jonas, right? If you want to know if I'm the one, what he say?
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights the will of belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Right, so look, if you can't figure this out, God told you plain as day how you need to, how you can identify Him. Like, for instance, we down in this time, we living now in the Gentile rule and what they set up now. You know, they believe in Easter, don't they? But if you're going to do wrong, like one brother said, if you're going to do wrong, at least do wrong right. Can't we get 3 nights out of Easter? It got to be a day and a half. At least if we're going to start on Friday, at least take it down to Monday or Tuesday, right? At least do it right. He said, hey, you want a sign? I'm going to give you the sign of prophet Jonah. The Son of Man going to be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. What else to say, brother?
The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation.
Now pay attention though, right? He said the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall do what?
Condemn it.
And shall condemn it. Keep reading, brother.
Because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. The queen of the south shall rise.
Now, and what he's saying is, now you got Jesus here hanging out with the Pharisees. He's there at that time, and they rejecting him. So he letting them know, look, the men of Nineveh, they going to rise up in judgment against you. Because when Jonah came and preached, hey, they repented. But you got the one. I'm the one sitting here in your face, and you won't even receive me. Right. So the men of Nineveh going to rise up in judgment against you. Because they changed, and look, they weren't even, it was Jonah that was there. It wasn't even Jesus. Right. It's like, I'm God in the flesh. I'm here, and you still ain't changed. What is Psalm 42, brother?
The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment of this generation. And shall condemn it. She came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon.
That's right, talking about Queen of Sheba, right? They say the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation. Wow, that just hit me right there, boy. Ooh. I mean, she getting up, boy. She going to be in that resurrection. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment, because you know when that's going to happen, right? You know. But that based on what the Lord is saying, she's going to be doing some judging. The The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. Keep reading.
For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here.
But you notice what the Lord is saying? Look, you got somebody greater than Solomon sitting right in your face. Yeah. And you ain't even receiving me. But the queen of the south, she gonna rise up in judgment and condemn this generation because she came to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Yeah. She gonna get up and judge this generation because y'all got the one right here and y'all ain't even receiving him. What he saying 43 though?
When the unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walking through dry places.
Pay attention now. He said when the unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walked through dry places. What else?
Seeking rest and finding.
And this is why when you come into the word of God, that old man, that old spirit that was, we once had in us, you start getting this new spirit in you, get baptized and stuff like that. Look, it don't stop right there. It's really when the walk begins. But hey, just like we saw at the beginning, man should not live by bread alone, right? But by every word of God. So just like you eating your food every day, you need to be eating his word every day. Don't allow no gaps in there, because Satan will get in there. That's why I look at this parable. He said when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walked through dry places, seeking rest and find none. Then what?
He said, I will return into my house since I came out.
Right, because this unclean spirit looking around trying to find somebody to jump into. Can't find nobody. That's why I say, then he said, I will return into my house. In other words, I'm going to go back to that old man I jumped out of. I'm going to go back to him. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. Keep reading.
And when he is come, he finds it empty, swept and garnished.
That's right. Look, ain't nothing in it. You got to put something inside that mind of yours, right? He said, when he come back or when he come, he find it empty, swept, and garnished. Keep reading.
Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits.
So not only does he come back, he bringing 7 more in. Bringing 7 other spirits with him. Go ahead and read.
More wicked than himself.
So they worse than him. They worse than him. Go ahead and read.
And they enter in and dwell there.
They enter in and dwell there. Keep reading.
And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
Oh, hey, you had one evil spirit in you at first. That one evil spirit jumped out of you. Notice what I say, that evil spirit, hey, that spirit went around looking for, places where he can get into. He couldn't find none. Then he was walking through dry places, couldn't find none, right? But he came back. Now just imagine, just imagine though. If you got Lord change you and clean you up, but you ain't keeping the Sabbath, you ain't dealing with the word, you're still holding on to things that you was doing back before you got into the word, what you think gonna happen? You're gonna end up getting pulled right back out there. That's why you need to stay in the word. That's why you got to keep feeding yourself the word of God so this right here don't happen. But this is an analogy, and God is giving you an example, comparing this to something, to this generation we in right now. That's why I say, look, and the last state of that man is worse than the first, because not only did he have one spirit in him at first, he got that one spirit that came back, and that he brought 7 more wicked spirits worse than himself, ain't it? So what he say?
Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation.
Oh, look at this generation though. So you think about the generation, even talking back then, but look down to where we are right now. Hey, we probably weren't on circles around Noah's generation. Generation 8 times worse. He said, then goeth he and take with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be to this wicked generation, sisters and brothers. So even from the time when Jesus was there talking, bringing it all the way down to where we are now, hey, things have gotten worse, sisters and brothers. So what you think the Lord going to do? You think He's going to just allow this stuff to continue to go on like this? Go back to Genesis chapter 9 right quick. Genesis chapter 9. Let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see what happened after the flood. But the Lord ain't going to just sit here and allow this stuff to go on like this, sisters and brothers. And that's why we do have to understand, hey, there's something coming. And it's a lot closer than we think. It's a lot closer than we could say 30 years ago, 50 years ago. It might have been, I guess in some people's mind, just the phrase, hey, the world is coming to an end. Because we didn't really see things happening like that. But now we starting to see things starting to pick up, sisters and brothers. Even conversations are starting to be made that I never thought I would hear just being in the Word. I never thought I would hear the European Union talking about forming their own army. See, we know that got to happen though, right? That got to take place in order for, the West to come against the East. We ain't talking about it in America either. But in order for the East and the West to fight against each other, hey, God gonna have his army, Satan gonna have his army. That got to happen. But these conversations are now starting to take place. Never thought I'd see that. They even talking about now, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Mussolini. I think they started to mention somebody's grandson, And then before that, because the army got to have a leader. You see what I'm saying? That army going to have a beast that's going to lead them. You see? That's why the beast and the false prophet going to hit the lake of fire when the Lord return. You see? So these conversations that are now being talked about in our time. A few years ago, matter of fact, I think about 2 years ago, they was talking about it's 27 nations that they thinking about coming together now. And they would say, I saw an article said something about, I can't remember. It was just mainly to the point they was going to do whatever they want to do, regardless of whether the 27 nations agree or not. And that let me know if you got 27 of them, and then these nations doing whatever, they want to do anyway, it makes sense for 17 of them to drop out. Just say, oh man, y'all crazy, y'all lost y'all mind. Because there's only going to be 10 nations left. You see? But all these different things are starting to happen now in our time. We starting to see all the false prophets all over the place. You got one even preaching against commandments, saying Satan wants you to keep the commandments. I'm like, dude, you done lost your mind, bro. The devil wants you to keep the commandments so you can sin. But he said what? Many false prophets going to rise and shall deceive many. Don't flip this meaning of grace completely upside down. Don't understand the meaning of the grace. And it's going to cause a lot of people to get cut off. Genesis chapter 9, pick it up at verse 1. This after the Lord flooded the earth. Now watch when he tell Noah to start it all over again. Now let's pay attention to what's at the forefront. This is 9, and pick it up at verse 1. What does it say, brother?
And God blessed Noah and his son. He said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth.
So hey, the Lord killed them off, didn't he? He killed off the world at that time. He said, now y'all start over again. That's why, look, we don't even know them people. We ain't never talked to them. We know nothing about them, do they? They died on the other side of the flood. We don't know nothing about it. That's why you got to be mindful when you deal with God, because you like grass to God. I did a class a few weeks ago about stop complaining, be humble. It wasn't, it wasn't complaining and being humble about your situation. It's complaining and not being humble to God. Some people like to talk noise to God. Like, God, why you put me in this situation? I know somebody that did it. And the next day, they hit him with lightning. I said, wow, boy, Lord, don't play it. I wasn't even in the word back then. Sat there and was going off on God. I say, look here, man, you got to stop running your mouth, man, because I can't allow you to sit up here and talking to God like that, man. And the next day we got to work. We was up here in Jacksonville. We was right over here on the JTB up here. And the next day we was at work. Man, Lord hit that ground with the lightning. The lightning came up through his arm. I said, Lord have mercy, man. He said, man, I felt so small. I was talking to him a few weeks ago. I said, man, I can't believe you spoke against God. He said, man, I didn't know what I was doing. Clearly you didn't. But the point is, look, when you get in your situation to go through hell, don't raise your mouth at God. Always look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? You understand what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Regardless of what I'm going through, I always stop, pull myself back and say, Lord, where did I drop the ball? And if I didn't drop the ball, cool. But if I did, put this why I ain't never questioning God like, hey, why you did this, God? Don't treat me like, nah, hey, because remember, we like grass. They knock you off and start all over again. When they going to do that with Israel? Tell Moses, get out the way. Let me kill all of them. I'll start over with you. He was like, my name out. Lord was like, nah, I ain't doing that. But look what happened. He done killed off all these people starting all over again, ain't he? God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. What else to say, brother? Verse 2.
And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea.
Go ahead.
Into your hand are they delivered.
What else?
Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even as the green herb have I given you all things.
Right, but I just want you to see something. Now after the flood, animals, they scared of a man now, ain't they? That's why he said, in the fear of you, of every beast of the earth. Matter of fact, he said, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth. And upon every fowl of the air, upon all that move upon the earth, upon all the fishes of the sea, into your hand are they delivered. So that, in my mind, that implies that it wasn't like that before the flood. It makes sense how he can get those animals into the ark. There wasn't no fear there. But now, after the flood, now some fear there, ain't it? Then on top of that, now you can start eating these animals too. So that also let me know that before the flood, what they was eating? They was eating herbs. That's why I say, look, every moving thing that live shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. So now after the flood, now we can eat these animals, right? That's why, brothers be tripping about, they be so sleepy to death. They be forgetting, look, you can eat meat. Don't eat unclean meat, though. But you can eat meat. You have some people just be like, oh, man, that, they do this to the chicken, they do this and that. Look, you're going to eat the defiled bread of Gentiles. But I don't care if you eat lettuce all day. They're going to get you something one way or the other. You ain't got to eat. Don't eat the lettuce. Look, don't eat the chicken. They got some chemtrails in the sky they spring. Get that way. Come on, man. Preach the gospel and wait till the Lord get back. That's all we can do. I mean, like I said, I ain't gonna get that big old chicken that look big. I'm going to the farmer's market. Them big old chicken, they scare me, man. I be thinking I'm gonna grow something out of my leg somewhere. I mean, them things are huge, man. Strawberries about that big now, look like apples and stuff. Plums are big. So I try to go find the natural spots, you know what I'm saying? But don't be going crazy though. That's the thing. Don't lose your mind over this stuff because God still say you can eat it. That's what he's saying here. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. And look, we know there's a clean and unclean because he already gave that to Noah before they went into the ark, right? So he's not saying that you can eat the unclean food. He said, look, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. What's saying verse 5 though?
And surely your blood of your lives will I require.
Oh, pay attention now, right? He said, and surely your blood of your lives will I require how?
At the hand of every beast.
Go ahead. He said at the hand of every, because look, we starting over now, right? But guess what's still there? Death is still there, ain't it? That's why, look, when we get down to the end of the world, when it's all said and done, when the Father come, look, we going to really see the new world. Ain't going to be no more death here. But look right here. He said, surely your blood of your lives will I require. He going to tell you how man is going to die now. One of the ways. What'd he say?
At the hand of every beast will I require.
Right, that's why I got to be mindful. Don't be playing with these animals and stuff like that. Some people be kissing these animals in the mouth and stuff. Better messing around and snap your head off. I think about the crocodile hunter. Why was he in the sea anyway, messing stingrays? He a crocodile hunter. That don't make sense. But the point is he got killed by one of them, didn't he? Think about, like I was saying, the circus guys, messed up by them lions and stuff. Hey, I mean, you might be able to tame them for a little bit, but I wouldn't be trusting them like that. He said, surely your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of every beast. Will I require it? And at the hand of what else?
At the hand of man.
And at the hand of man. So now we even going to be killing each other, ain't we? But look, that should let you know we need something better than what we have right now, sisters and brothers. That's the new world that we need to be looking forward to. We ain't got to worry about this stuff right no more like we do now. He said at the hand of every man, what? At the hand of man, I'm sorry.
And at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man.
Y'all see that? At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. But look, man, we're in a bad situation, ain't we? We're in a bad situation. Like, hey, I mean, you ain't, like I said, even though we passing, president, kings, and coming up in power and stuff like that, we are still experiencing death. We're still experiencing poverty. We're still experiencing sin, sisters and brothers. So we are in need of a change. Go on to Psalms chapter 39. Psalms 39. Psalms chapter 39. And this, and this mainly for people that used to be like myself when I first came. And I'm telling you, man, my son can attest to it. My son can, my daughters, my wife, they can attest that I had lost my mind literally. I mean, I ain't go crazy, but I'm talking about I was, I used to be at home. I was listening to Alex Jones every day at 12 o'clock. I lay on my floor, the room. I had my computer on, had my headphones on. I mean, just listening to all this doom and gloom stuff that was getting ready to happen to the world. So if you said anything to me, that's what you was gonna get. You say, "How you doing?" I say, martial law coming. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna cancel the elections in 2008. I was actually out in the streets. I had some flyers made up, my Vistaprint, that was saying that the 2008 election is gonna be canceled. You remember that night? Martial law coming. Martial law coming. FEMA camps. I had different websites on the card, the 5x8 cards that I was passing out, man. So this is for people like that to let them know, look, man, when it's all said and done, I'm talking gas masks, my whole garage, 2-car garage, was filled up with water. I had one side I think was open, but I had number jugs of water on the floor. Nuclear radiation pills, gas masks. Y'all think, I'm telling you, man, I was going crazy, man. So I guess Lord had to scare the hell out of me, man. Because that's the route I went. But I kept on searching. I'm like, man, you mean to tell me, Lord, you're going to allow all this to happen to us and you ain't going to do nothing? What were we born for? So I just kept on studying. One day I saw that video, Hebrew Israelites of the so-called Negro. Y'all might not have seen that. That came out probably about 13, 14 years ago, and I saw it around that time. And that's when I started, wait a minute, hold on. That woke me up, you know what I'm saying? But I went real crazy with this stuff. And there's some people that still do that today. I had a sister reach out to me a few weeks ago. It was some locusts and stuff, a dust storm, a locust storm, grasshoppers in Vegas. She gonna text me while I'm preaching in class. Brother Nate, I think this is it. This is the 6th seal. I was saying to myself, you should have brought your behind the church. The 6th seal because of Vegas. I shut that down. I said, listen, so I sent her to class Armageddon and let her know that ain't got nothing to do. I said, look, man, this ain't got nothing to do with no 6th seal. This ain't been back to church, but look, don't be texting me that, man. This is it. Look, man, it's some grasshoppers. A strong wind, it'll make them do that. That's what but people get caught up into this type of stuff, so anything move left or to the right, it scares them. And I used to be that way. That's why we really have to look at this class and understand that Jesus is the one that's going to set this new world order up. We ain't got to worry about man, sisters and brothers. But Psalm chapter 39, pick this up at verse 4. What does it say, brother?
Lord, make me to know my name.
And
the measure of my days.
That's why he read.
What it is. That I may know how frail I am.
But pay attention though, right? He said, what? Lord, make me to know my end. That's what we have to understand, because at some point for all of us, if we don't see the coming of the Lord, guess what? Our days are coming to an end, sisters and brothers. That's what we should be more concerned about, because guess what? You can go at any time. He said, what? Lord, make me to know my end and the measure of my days, what it is. And you won't believe that though, but God got a time frame on your days as man is concerned. But he said, look, make me know my end and the measure of my days, what it is. What else?
That I may know how frail I am.
Read.
Behold, thou hast made my days as an handbreadth. And my age is as nothing before thee.
Oh, y'all see that? Hey, our days before the Lord is nothing. Talking about an everlasting being compared to somebody like us. Go on and read.
Verily, every man in his best stage is altogether vanity.
And then on top of that, hey, Psalm chapter 90, I think around verse 8, let you know that not only, we see in Genesis that he brought man's time down to 120 years, right? But in Psalm chapter 90, look, he brought it down to 70 years and 10. That's 70, ain't it? He said, if by reason of strength it's going to be 80. In other words, if your body is able to make it past 70, you make it to 80. But hey, it ain't going to be too soon after that you're going to fly away. Not off to heaven either. We just talking about you're going to die. But it's going to be rough. That's what he say. Look, because hey, that's what's going to happen with man. We have to understand that. He said, look, behold, thou hast made my days as a handbreadth, and my ages as nothing before thee. Verily, every man at his best state is altogether vanity. What did it say, brother?
Surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain.
Right, in other words, look, we be working ourselves up sometimes for no reason. Because look, guess what happens when you die? Them bills going to still be there. You know what I'm saying? That electric company that's been charging you out the roof is still going to be there. Sometimes we worry ourselves for nothing, sisters and brothers. That's why I was saying a few weeks ago, I like to, I be on the water a lot, like to spend time with the family a lot because, hey, ain't no telling when this thing gonna be over. And I done got to the point in life where I just kind of be on cruise control. You know, like I say, people like, damn, Brother Nate, be always on the water. He be on the boat a lot. Look, he got money. No, I am poor. I'm super poor. Make sure you understand that. I just know how to rob Peter to pay Paul. Because when you get around this age, you know how to manage things. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I'm a slave. So I ain't going to try to make it glamorous. No, I'm a slave. I don't care how much money you got, Negro, you still a slave. So, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm just going to try to enjoy my days while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying we poor like, you know, in Africa and stuff like that. But I ain't rich like the Cowboys on either. You see what I'm saying? Like, we ain't there. We're good poor people, sisters and brothers. But at the same time, look, ain't no sense in you pulling your hair out over things you can't control. Like I like to do, when I go through situations and things are kind of going, I feel like they're going to kind of jam me up and start stressing me out. First thing I do is I kind of do that Hezekiah thing. You know, I ain't Hezekiah, but I showed up be like, Lord, I've been keeping your Sabbath. I've been keeping your dietary law. I've been obedient. I've been working on myself. Can you have some mercy? And once again, I always see the hand of the Lord, man. Absolutely. You know, but ain't nothing you can do. If you're doing whatever you're supposed to do on your end to serve God, you got to have faith in him to take care of the rest, right? But at some point, you're going to get comfortable like that. You're going to say, hey, I know the Lord done already delivered me out of one thing. He'll bring us out of something else. As opposed to going crazy, pulling your hair out. And that's what he's saying. Surely every man walk in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. You be tripping over nothing. What else you say, brother?
He heapeth up riches and knoweth not who should gather.
Because when you die, somebody else going to come and gather. You try your best to save up and put things up for your family and stuff, but you don't know what's going to happen when you dead and gone. Say, heap up riches and know not who shall gather them. What else?
And now, Lord, why wait I for?
What is saying in verse 10? I'm sorry.
Remove thy stroke away from me.
I
am consumed by the blow of thine hand.
But notice how the Lord sent his blow. He said, when I rebuke, does thou correct? Oh, where you at? 10, right? 10, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. He said, remove that stroke away from me. I am consumed by the blow of thine hand. What else?
When thou with rebukes dost correct man for iniquity.
Now notice what he do to man. He said, when thou with rebukes dost correct man for iniquity, what?
Thou makest his beauty to consume away like a moth.
Oh, you see that? Thou make his beauty to consume away like a moth. See, God can do that, can't he? Man can't do that. You know, that's why, look, it's better for you to be more concerned about, you know, like you say, your bodily exercise profit of little. It's about that word, man, because, look, ain't nothing wrong with working out and stuff like that, but when it's all said and done, what's going to get you from that grave? That word of God. That's why it's good to be in this book. But he said, look, remove your stroke away from me. I am consumed by the blow of thine hand. When thou with rebukes, does correct man for iniquity, thou make his beauty to consume away like a moth. Can't no man do nothing like that, can he? That's why I don't never want to make the Lord upset. I try to, if he's sleeping and ain't bothering me, I try not to make him upset, man. If you're in good standing with the Lord, don't do nothing where you're going to get in trouble. You know, I say, let the sleeping giant sleep. You know, don't be don't mess around. You miss the Sabbath day and, you know, you just gotta break a commandment and think the Lord gonna have mercy. Don't do that, because you make the Lord look. The Lord ain't gonna punish you like a man punish a child. You know, his punishment can be sickness. His punishment, he have you sitting on your deathbed thinking like, dang, why I did that. You understand what I'm saying? So don't mess with him now, because you pay attention to what he say. He said, when thou with rebukes does correct man for iniquity, for sin, thou make his beauty to consume away like a moth. But what he say though?
Surely every man is vanity.
Right, but every man is vanity, sisters and brothers. But like I say, back to where we started. Look, this is what we know as mankind. This is what we comprehend. Do you comprehend living forever? You ain't never seen nobody live forever. I ain't never seen nobody live forever. I don't even know how that feels. Like I'm in a situation right now where all I know is that at some point, okay, I don't know when our day is. I don't know when our time gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Then you look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm getting gray hairs. Oh God, I'm getting old. You know, because really after 35 is downhill. You think about it, if God gave you 70 years and 10, 35 downhill, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Like you start counting down now. But see, in between that, you never know when it's going to be your time anyway. But the point is, hey, man gonna die. And that's all we know. So we need something new. We need something better than what we're experiencing right now, sisters and brothers. And that's what the Lord gonna bring. Jesus gonna start this thing off, sisters and brothers. But now let's go to Luke chapter 17. He gonna be at the beginning of it. So many people try to get around Jesus. They want to go straight to the Father. That's where you got this Yah come from. You know, when people say Yah, we understand. We know Yah. You know, for the most part, you know, it can be both. Like me and Brother Elijah was talking one day. But we know for the most part we talking about Jesus because that's the only one that dealt with man. You see? However, you have a lot of people like Jehovah's Witnesses. They even think Jehovah is God, the Father. You know, because a lot of people want to just deal with the Father. But you're not going to supersede Jesus, sisters and brothers. Everything going to be done by Jesus. From him dealing with man, taking down man, setting his kingdom up, taking us down to judgment day. Jesus going to do all that. He going to start this thing off. And then he going to take it down. He going to take it to the new kingdom when the Father comes. You see, but he's going to be at the helm. In other words, he's going to be the one that's steering this ship, in other words. That's what a helm does. You know, it guides the ship. You see? But Jesus is the one that's going to be guiding us. He's the one that's going to be responsible for all this. And then when it's all said and done, then the Father's going to actually come with New Jerusalem from out of the sky. But Luke chapter 17. Luke 17, we're going to pick this up at verse 26. Looking at some signs of the end, because this thing got to end in order for it to start all over again, right? Luke 17, and pick this up at verse 26. What did it say, brother? Go ahead.
And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man.
Because they want to know about when the kingdom of God going to come. And he let them know, look, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. What else?
They did eat. They drank.
That's right.
They married wives. They were given in marriage.
Keep reading.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all.
Right, so it's just like everybody just going about doing their own thing, right? Not paying attention. You know, not observing the things that are happening around the world. As far as prophecy is concerned, just like now. He's comparing, the end of the world to what happened during Noah's time. That's why we read that, so we can see that, hey, it's going to have to end. The Lord ain't going to allow this thing to continue on. So he said they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. What else? 28.
Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built.
Right, but look, hey, we ain't read about that, did we? But hey, doing that right there, that's Sodom and Sodom and Gomorrah, sodomy going on. Same sex stuff was going on. And that's what we are today. We're looking at what the end of the world going to look like, and the Lord is giving you two very important comparisons. Giving you an analogy of two situations that took place, letting you know it's going to be the same way at the end of the world. So he say, likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. Everybody just going about their lives like they have nothing to worry about. What happened?
But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. Right.
You know what I wonder about this right here? I wonder about this, when the Lord give these comparisons right here. I wonder why he didn't give Noah comparison last. Because Noah comparison, that was with water, wasn't it? But you notice it was one he gave last, right? He gave a fire, because when he come back, he come with fire, ain't he? But that's just something I think in my mind. Ain't nothing making nothing of that. But what he's saying in verse 30, though, give you Lot comparison and Sodom and Noah's comparison. Then what he's saying in verse 30.
Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.
Right, so look around, though. During Noah's time, what was going on? Evil was on the hearts of men continually. It's going to be like, hey, look at us now. Then on top of that, what's going to happen? He's saying it's going to be just like it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. All this stuff we see going on is not by accident. All this stuff is happening for a reason, because the Lord said it was going to happen and you've seen it unfold. But we want some other sign. We want special sign. We want somebody to come to us and speak in tongues, don't we? Everybody seeking to speak in tongues don't even know what the meaning of that is. We want these signs. We want these preachers to make people get up and walk. Don't want to keep no law, though. This is a simple thing. Because the way you start learning is by keeping the law. That's real simple, ain't it? He said a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. The fear of the Lord is what? The beginning of wisdom. You see what I'm saying? But that's real simple. But no, we want all the spooky stuff. We want the preacher to come around. No, matter of fact, we want the preacher we want Peter Popoff to send us a cloth and some oil. I did it. You should have known something wrong with a name like Peter Popoff. Peter Popoff? If that don't sound perverted, goodness gracious, man. Sound like the Piper, don't it? Goodness gracious, boy, I tell you. Buffalo Dollar. That don't sound funny?
Oh, yeah, that do. That's crazy.
Reverend Price. That don't sound funny to y'all?
You ain't lying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we just... Well, I tell you. But he said what? Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed, right? It's going to be just like it was back then. But this is letting you know that, hey, this is coming to an end now, sisters and brothers. But now let's go to Matthew 28. Because the world is in need of a change, but now we're going to see. Remember we started off, who had the power? We saw Satan had it, right? But now we're going to see, hey, things are ready to shift now after Jesus get up from the grave. But we just got to wait till he return for us to see in full effect. Matthew 28. And pick this up at verse 18. Matthew 28, verse 18. Read that for me, please.
And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying,
Uh-huh.
All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth.
Right, so he took it back from Satan, didn't he? But we don't see him, we don't see the kingdom on earth right now. We still see wickedness going on. But some things are long prophecies. When the Lord get back, just like Jesus supposed to be the king of the world, right? Rule from Jerusalem. Do you see him doing that? That don't mean it's not going to happen. It's just a long prophecy. You get what I'm saying? But hey, he got all power because he got all power once he got it from the grave. Why? Because he has defeated death. You see, Satan had that. That's what comes with Satan. Sickness, death, and all this evil you see going on. But hey, when Jesus got it from the grave, he done defeated death. But we waiting on this stuff to start happening. When he come back, hopefully we on the good side. We can make this first resurrection. And be able to defeat death at that time. But he says Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power was given unto me in heaven and in earth. What else?
Go ye therefore and teach all nations.
Right, he said, go ye therefore and teach all nations. What else?
Baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son
Go ahead.
and of the Holy Ghost.
Keep reading.
Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded.
Right, so we're going to teach y'all how to buy weapons? We're going to teach y'all how to stock up on food? Do we need to go out in the country and get, like me and Brother Shafiq was trying to do, go out into the country? We was looking for some property out in Georgia, 6 acres. Nice big house. 6 acres of land. We was going to move, we was thinking about, we was trying to get in there. And the Lord shut that down. But I'm just saying, like, that ain't what the Lord said doing. He said, what? Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost. So that's what the agenda is. That's what we have to worry about. Look, we ain't got time for all the conspiracies and stuff like that. That's going to take care of itself. You need to worry about being able to make it through the day. You understand? But the job, especially for the priest, is what? The priest of the gospel, right? That's what we need to be doing. Not worrying about all these. Don't be going nuts, man, like I was doing. We ain't got to do that. Preach the gospel. That's the mission. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And what else?
And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world.
So how long we need to be preaching this gospel? To the end of the world, right?
Amen.
But that's coming. But we also see that Jesus now, hey, all power was given into his hand. When he come back, he bringing, he going to bring that power. He going to, you're going to start seeing death be reversed. And man, not everybody, because you're still going to have flesh and blood. You're going to still have some people that are in the grave. That ain't getting up when the Lord returns. They're going to get up at, the second resurrection. But you're going to start seeing things change when Jesus returns. That's why I call this Jesus at the helm of the New World Order. Because he the one going to start bringing this change in, sisters and brothers. Not a change like when it changed presidents, change the hand of president, stuff like that, because don't nothing really change. You still got death going on. You still got people sick. You still got poverty around the world. You still got the rich up high, the poor at the bottom. You still got the 99% of what? Slaves. are working for that what? That 1%. But when Jesus comes, now we're going to even have some change and some righteous judgment now coming, sisters and brothers. This is what we need. This is what we need to be looking forward to. Luke chapter 13. Luke 13. Luke 13. We're going to pick this up at verse 24. Luke 13 and 24. Go and read that for me.
Strive to enter in at the straight gate.
Uh-huh.
For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able.
Mm-hmm.
But once the master of the house is risen up and has shut to the door,
Go ahead.
and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not which ye are.
Uh-huh. So he said what? Strive to enter in at the straight gate, right? Right. So it's not going to be, 4 and 5 different ways to get to the Lord. It's one way. But it's not going to be broad. In other words, you're not going to see everybody running to get in this line or run down this particular, take this path that we taking to salvation. Ain't going to be too many people trying to do this. That's why tomorrow most of these houses going to be filled up with, all these churches, I call them whorehouses. They're going to be filled up with a lot of false doctrine, shaking it up, shaking it down. Ain't nobody getting no understanding. It's going to be filled up with that tomorrow, ain't it? That's the broad way, though. And that's what the Lord letting you know. He says, strive to enter in at the straight gate. That's what you need to be seeking for, regardless of what the crowd is doing, sisters and brothers. We need to make sure we focused on the word and trying to walk the way that God has told us to walk. Strive to enter in at the straight gate. For me, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. Isn't that something? A lot of people think they're going to get in. They ain't going to get in, though. But you don't want that to be you. What it say in 25?
Once the master of the house is risen up and has shut to the door, and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not what ye are.
Isn't that something? He said what? When once the master of the house is risen up and have shut to the door, and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us, and he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not when she are. Ain't that's something though. When you done sit here, thinking you getting in, doing all this stuff, I just think about like a lot of things that I saw people doing in the church when I was coming up. Washing cars, the catfish dinners and stuff like that. The preacher upstairs preaching. We leave one church, go to the next church. All these false churches around here, around Jacksonville, I know all of them. I know all of them. Every last one. From Bethel Baptist downtown, False Temple. I can't believe they called it False Temple, too. It's a church called False Temple. Right off Murder Avenue. right out False Temple. Right off well, it's not spelled false, though. It's F-A-U-S-T. But we wouldn't pronounce it right. We call it false. But really what it is false. But, we go from one church to the next. Then we get to these churches, man, you have the women up downstairs cooking and stuff. While the preacher upstairs, the preacher up there shouting and all type of stuff, doing all this work for nothing. For nothing. You're going to show up and try to get into the door, and the Lord going to say, I ain't know you. I don't know you. Say, Lord, Lord, open unto her. He shall answer and say unto you, I know you not when she are. Then what's going to happen?
Then shall you begin to say, we have eaten and drunken in the presence.
Go ahead.
And thou hast taught in our street.
And that's something. That means you must have, had a foot in the door or something. For you to be drinking in his presence. Yeah. He said, then you shall begin to say, we have eaten and drunk in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. But you're going to say what?
You shall say, I tell you,
I
know you not what ye are.
Keep reading.
Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity.
Man, I keep telling, I ain't trying to be funny, but every time I hear this, I just think about T.I., man. When you holler at you and you see me, remember you don't know me? Nah, T.I. don't read the Bible like that. I don't think he got that from that. But I think about that when I see this. He said what? He shall say, I tell you, I know you not when she are. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. What did he say, brother?
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When you shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and you yourselves thrust out.
Right. Go now. See now what he's taking you back to is Matthew chapter 8. He's gonna quote the same thing in his next verse in Matthew chapter 8, when it was a Gentile centurion. Had a servant that was sick of the palsy, and he was asking the Lord to heal his servant, and the Lord said, mainly where is he at? here I come to your place, your house to heal him. And the centurion said, look, you ain't got to go. I ain't worthy for you to come, first and foremost. Second off, I know all you got to do is say the word and he'll be healed. So, because I got sons that are under me. I tell him to go, he go. I tell him to come, he comes. So shall it be with your word. And the Lord said, I have not seen so great faith, no, not in Israel. That's Matthew chapter 8. They turn around and say, what? Read verse 29, because he said the same thing in Matthew chapter 8. What did he say, 29?
And they shall come from the east and from the west,
and
from the north and from the south.
Keep reading.
And shall sit down in the kingdom of God.
Go ahead.
And behold, there are they are last which shall be first. And they are first which shall be last.
Right, so look, that just lets you know, first and foremost, we have to understand that don't be preaching that other people can't get salvation. That's the thing we have to understand. Don't be, you're going to mess around and you're going to get kicked out of the kingdom because you ain't doing your job. But at the same time, hey, when the Lord returned, Israel come back to the top. Just keep that in mind as well. You see, that's like a double meaning in a sense. But the last going to be first. Things going to change around when the Lord returns. Just think about Israel being at the bottom. Who really look at us as being anybody? Just think about it. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny. I mean, just look at us as a nation. And when you think about it, you really can't blame nobody else for looking at us like this, can you? Because we've really put ourselves in a bad situation. The way we kill each other, the way we carry ourselves. Who would want to follow something like that? We don't even want to follow it, do we? But now that we starting to wake up, it's starting to make sense. But it's like, you got all these years of wickedness we've been doing. A few hundred years or 40, 50 years of us turning back to God. Don't nobody want to hear that? Y'all been wicked for thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? However, it's going to change. And then on top of that, hey, even if you're an Israelite and you think that you're going to get a spot in over other nations, you better be mindful of that. The Lord let you know now. It's going to be others. They're going to come in from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you yourself going to be thrust out. That's why he said in Isaiah 56, he said, well, I'm going to give them a name better than of sons and of daughters. So we got to keep all that in mind as well. But look, that's how things are going to start shifting when the Lord returns. Flip over to Zephaniah chapter 3. We're almost done. Now, it ain't going to be too much more. As far as like, we just showing how, mentally, showing you spiritually in your mind, how the picture how this new world gonna look when the Lord comes. Zephaniah chapter 3. Zephaniah 3. We're gonna pick this up at verse 6. Zephaniah 3 and verse 6. Go ahead.
I have cut off the nation. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passes by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabited. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instruction, so that dwellings should not be cut off. Howsoever I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings.
That's right, keep reading.
Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I might assemble the kingdom, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger.
Because this is what the Lord going to do when it's all said and done. He's going to take down Babylon. He's going to take down these nations, sisters and brothers. Like, how is it that we can't, get this in a regular church? And it just makes sense now why reading from the Old Testament is not something popular. Like y'all, matter of fact, you the one who sent me the picture. I didn't know it was you. That's why I had to ask people in church last week. Y'all know this number? They was like, oh yeah, that's Judah. But the picture you sent me was the Old Testament Bible. Right. Remember? With the Psalms and Proverbs, and then it just had the new. It was an old Bible, but it just had the New Testament and Psalms and Proverbs. Y'all remember that? Yeah. Y'all remember the Bibles they used to give you, and but they would just give those out. But they would pass them out too, though. Vacation Bible, they want crusade and pass them out. But it just makes sense now why they wouldn't give out anything with the Old Testament in it. Because it's speaking of the demise. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just flat out telling you I'm going to destroy the nations. And so they got to be Satan behind the scene, like, in the mind of man to make them do something like this. Even though they may not understand it fully, I know, coming out of the office of the papacy, I don't think they that dumb. Put it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because whoever this man going to be, he said he going to understand dark sentences. You know what I'm saying? So things that you might not understood in the Bible, he going to understand it clearly. You know. But this talk about the demise of how the Lord going to take down Babylon, sisters and brothers, when he rise up to the prey. Then he say, what he going to do? Matter of fact, he said his indignation, even all my fierce anger for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Not water this time, though. That's why you look outside, the Lord, he put a nice pretty rainbow up there, don't it? Man, so wicked, he done flipped that into some wickedness, ain't it? That rainbow was a reminder to God that he would never kill man again with water. That was a reminder for him. That wasn't a reminder for you or me. You know, you look at the rainbow, oh, he's not ever going to kill us, Lord. No, that was a reminder for God, for him not to kill. Because, hey, man gets so bad, he be like, well, I'd drown y'all again if I could. But I put a bow up here. But guess what? He ain't say he won't send no fire, boy. He going to send fire next time. But, man, it's so wicked. We done turned that into, we done turned that into gay pride. Man, I tell you, man, something else, boy. But he said, well, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Go ahead and read, brother. What it say?
But then will I turn to the people of pure language.
Uh-huh.
They may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent.
Oh, you see that, though? He said, then will I do what?
Turn to the people of pure language.
Oh, he said, I'm going to turn to people of pure language. And what they going to do?
That they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent.
Right, so look, we worrying about all these different names, stuff like that. We be worrying about like Jesus, Yeshua, Yahweh, Yehoshua. Look, I'm going to tell you something. What I do is I stick to what I can read. I'm going to stick to Jesus. However, though, he did say he going to get him a pure language, right? Evidently, that means it ain't been spoken before. If it's pure, right? So look, just stick to what you can read right now. When the Lord get back, hey, he'll give us, he going to give us, but for me right now, Jesus has saved my life, sisters and brothers. You understand? Literally, I've seen. Matter of fact, I used to deal with a certain set of GOCC back in the day, right? When I first came into the Word, and they had split. There was a split part up in Atlanta. So one guy used to teach. He was an older gentleman, and he said one night he dropped somebody off at these apartments in Atlanta. And somebody came out to rob him. Now, all this time, we read the Bible. When I get there, we'll see God. We'll say the Most High Power. We'll say, we see Jesus. We'll say something else. You know what I'm saying? But one night, this older man, he went to get robbed. Somebody pulled a gun on him. You know what he called? He called Jesus. And that guy took off, ran. But I'm just thinking to myself, but when it come down to us getting around each other as brothers, we ashamed of the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Listen, there's power in the name. I'm going to deal with what I got. That's what I can read, and I'm confident with that. That's why I'm just thinking, I was thinking about a brother the other day. It was some guy that was online. This young guy, light-skinned brother, that was rapping in the car. I know most of y'all have seen it. Brother, very talented, right? And I put on there, I was like, somebody let me holler at this brother, man, because I was going to try to, work with him. So I was like, I got the other day, man. I say, you know what? I ain't compromising, man. Because he is united in Christ all day. I'm about Jesus. I don't care how talented you are. I'm not going to sit up here and compromise Jesus. We can't call on Jesus. We mess around, you get on there, and they start, matter of fact, they don't believe in other nations being saved. So he may sound good, but it's a contradiction in what I believe. I believe in the name of Jesus. And I'm going to stick to that. And I also believe in other nations being saved as well. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, I just give them applause, but that's about it. But the point is, look, God going to give us a pure language in the future, ain't it? He said, well, for then will I turn to the people of pure language that they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him one consent. So it's like he going to take it all the way back to Genesis, ain't it? Before the Tower of Babel. Well, during the time, because remember, he came down and changed the languages at the Tower of Babel, remember? Right. But now he going to bring us all back on one accord. At this time when he returns, showing you something, hey, we ain't never, all of us for the most part, since we've been born, we got different languages, don't we? That's really what tongues is talking about anyway. Right. And that's when the tongues were changed at the Tower of Babel. But now the Lord is going to restore that. For then will I turn to the people of pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. Flip over to Zechariah chapter 13. Zechariah chapter 13. Because, hey, during this time, you ain't going to have false prophets up in Jerusalem. You know, you're going to have their parents even turn them in. Zechariah chapter 13. And we're going to pick this up at verse 3. Excuse me. Zechariah 13. And we're going to pick this up at verse 3. Zechariah 13 to verse 3, yep. All right, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, without speaking lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied.
So look here, you know how we got all these, you know, everywhere you go, everywhere you turn nowadays, everybody a prophet, ain't it? You know, you got prophets all in your family, prophetess, prophets. You know, they call them lady now. Yeah, but I never thought we'd get to this time. You call her, the first lady is called by her first letter in her first name. Like if her name is Tanya and she's the first lady of the church, they call her Lady T. Yeah. What in the world? The preacher is called the apostle now. Like, what are we doing, man? And even the Sunday churches now, these brothers are dressing up with these red stuff like the popes. Yeah. I'm talking about Pentecostal churches. Yeah. They dressing up like the popes now. But look though, hey, we've been saying it for years that hey, she's the mother harlot, man. Yeah. So guess what? Her daughter's starting to look like her now. But everybody want to do this. Everybody want to have that title now. And everybody want to be prophets and apostles and stuff like that. And mainly they lying. However, you ain't going to be able to do this when the Lord get back. That's why it says it's going to come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begot him shall say unto him, you're going to die. That's what thou shalt not live mean, right? He say, they shall say unto him, thou shalt not live for what?
Thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord.
Oh, you see that his own parents going to tell on him. You speaking lies in the name of the Lord. What else?
And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied.
His own mother and father going to thrust him through when he prophesied. Go ahead and read. What else? Verse 4.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his visions.
So you ain't going to be having all these people running around now. You know, what I do name and he be on, hey, God! You know what I'm talking about? He be on later. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't gonna have that. You ain't gonna have that going on when the Lord get back. He said it's gonna come to pass that the prophet shall be ashamed. He gonna be saying it low. He said they're gonna be ashamed every one of his vision. When he have prophesied, neither shall they do what?
Wear a rough garment to the city.
Right, so you ain't gonna see them wearing all this nice stuff, you know, that's appealing to people. You see somebody with a white collar on, you know, you want to have some respect, to, you know, and stuff like that. Even though, don't get me wrong, that position does bring a lot of power. That's why you have to be mindful with being a teacher and stuff like that, because sometimes you get carried away. That's why I was talking this morning to a brother about, you know, brother from Jacob, but he up in Atlanta now. He got a church up there, and he came to see us a few weeks ago. And he's just like, Nate, man, you know, the people in Jacksonville, man, they don't want to praise God. You know, they don't want to worship. I'm like, I say, man, leave the people alone, man. Just because you teaching, that don't mean you got to be lords over the people. Most people done been shaking it up and down all their life. When they come into the truth, you know what they want to do? They want to sit down and crack that book and find out what they've been lied about to all this time. Talking about the people ain't praising God. You don't know what somebody do at their house. When they come to church, we don't got to turn on some soft. Go back to Sunday church with that. We come to church to get the word. That's why you're going to get 2 solos or 2 songs and then sit down. Right? And have a seat. You don't need all that. Y'all wave your hands in the air. It's just think about it. Oh, God, we ain't doing all that, man. We're trying to get this word. The world is coming to an end.
That's what's up.
But there ain't nothing wrong with praising God, but I don't have to praise him in front of you as man.
Right.
You don't know what I do in my closet. But I'm just saying, hey, that comes with a lot of power, and you have to know how to, you got to know how to distribute what God gave you being in that position. But he said, come to pass in the day that the prophet shall be ashamed. Every one of his vision, when he had prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment till the sea. They can be hiding all that fancy stuff. You know how they, like you said in the New Testament, they make broad their phylacteries. Putting on all them big robes and stuff like that. That's what I told you. They getting worse now. I told my church I came out of, they got all these colors and stuff. I never thought I'd see you look just like the Pope. It's going to come a time they're going to be hiding them clothes, though. Ain't nobody, I ain't no preacher. I saw you preach. I ain't no preacher. I ain't got no vision. That's why he said, neither shall they wear a rough garment to the sea. What's that in verse 5, though?
But he shall say, I am no prophet.
Oh, see, now they saying they prophets, ain't they? It's going to come a time where they be like, I ain't no prophet. I ain't no preacher. I saw you preaching. No, that wasn't me. They're going to be scared because these people, matter of fact, it's going to come a time when these people going to start turning on these preachers because you know what the preacher's supposed to be doing? Supposed to warn these people about what's coming. Right. They not being warned, sisters and brothers. They being taken advantage of. That's why you have people snapping on these preachers. Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to brother shot a preacher. He was sleeping with his wife. It was something going on a few years and our world changes. Brother went up in there and started shooting. I think he shot somebody in the church. I think he went in there with a gun and they ended up killing him. But hey, you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that. Yeah, they got security up in there, boy. Yeah, they don't play up there, boy. And the world changes, boy. It's like, anyway. But the point is, hey, it's going to come a time where they're going to be trying to hide. He said, well, he shall say, I'm no prophet, I'm a husbandman. Y'all know what a husbandman is? That's a farmer. Well, I ain't no preacher, man. I'm a farmer. He said, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. Liars. Because now you caught. Now you ain't no preacher. Now you know death is right there. Your parents going to tell on you. They going to thrust you through. Now I ain't got no vision. Just imagine this was happening today. Everybody be sitting down with them. Aunties and uncles and stuff. They wouldn't be no preachers with you. Like everybody in your family preacher. When you started preaching? Well, I'll tell you. But nobody don't want to preach this though, do they? They don't want to preach this. They look at it as a money scheme. See, we don't get paid to do this. And it ain't that we need no money. We proud to have jobs. But this right here, man, the reward we get for preaching this, you couldn't pay us. There was nothing you can do to pay us to do this, man. Everlasting life, look, I think about this right here. This is the greatest job in the world. You cannot beat this right here. You're like, well, I'm a doctor. I'm going to get this. We get this amount an hour. Yeah, but guess what, doctor? You can't stop yourself from dying. This is one of the greatest jobs in the world. Because the reward at the end of it is what? Everlasting life, sisters and brothers. And just for your walk alone, just being somebody getting the word, hey, at the end of the day, you serving God, doing what you're supposed to do and staying on the path, the reward is the same thing, everlasting life. What he said, look, he shall say, I'm no prophet, I'm a husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. What he say in verse 6?
And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thy hand?
Uh-huh.
Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friend.
Uh-huh. Keep reading. You lying, though. You lying. You've been taking advantage of the people. Been doing them wrong. But what the Lord going to say, verse 7?
Awake, O sword against my shepherd,
Uh-huh.
and against a man that is my fellow, saith the Lord.
Hey, he going to kill him, ain't he? Awake, O sword against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts, do what?
Smite the shepherd,
Uh-huh.
and the sheep shall be scattered.
That's right. Keep reading.
And I will turn my hand upon the little one.
All right, so Lord going, hey, help out the ones that are scattered now. That's why, Lord, you look another place, said that the Lord had compassion upon the people, didn't he? Yeah. As if they were sheep having no shepherd. But now let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah 14. Just looking at this change in the world that's coming, sisters and brothers. This is the real new world we need to be focused on. Don't be scared about what man gonna do, sisters and brothers. I was scared. I was running crazy. I was losing my mind. Couldn't sleep at night. But the Lord knew what he was doing. Isaiah chapter 14, pick this up at verse 1. What did it say, brother?
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And will choose Israel.
Keep reading.
And set them in their own land.
Oh, look at that, though. Who he talking about, Jacob? Who he talking about? He talking about these people that have been scattered throughout the world in worldwide captivity, sisters and brothers. He said, what, the Lord going to have mercy on Jacob? Because I know it look kind of dim right now, don't it? Don't look good for us as a black people, but the Lord going to help Israel. He said, going to have mercy on Jacob. And will yet choose Israel. He going to set them in their own land. See, everybody got a land to call home, but even Israel does too. We have a land. It's not Mississippi. It's not Alabama. We have a land to call home, and that's what the Lord going to do when he get back. He's going to set Jacob in his own land, and what's going to happen?
And the stranger shall be joined with them.
Uh-huh.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Oh, but you see that? Hey, now instead of us having to cleave for everything, then they're going to be cleaving us, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read. What else?
And the people should take them and bring them to their place.
Uh-huh.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for service.
Right, can you imagine having some servants? That's what's gonna happen. Now, that don't mean that you're gonna do people wrong though, because we're gonna have Jesus here. So it's gonna be righteousness on earth, but hey, you ain't got to worry about being at the bottom no more. This if you don't get everlasting life. Right. Shoot for everlasting life. Right. But if you don't get everlasting life, just think, but just look at Israel as a whole. When Israel come back, this is what God has set up for them. This is what's coming in the new world. He said, the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants. What else? And handmaid. Uh-huh.
And they shall take them captive,
whose
captives they were.
Right, so who can you imagine taking captive? Who would you like to work for you? I'm just thinking about I think I would like old boy. Because he just seems so untouchable in my head. What's the guy's name in Russia? The Russian president over there, Vladimir Putin. Yeah, it seems like he untouchable, man. What if he working for me? But hopefully we got everlasting life, though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying we've been the product for so long. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff is gonna change when the Lord returns. And it's not that people may think, oh, that's a bad thing, or we shouldn't look at preach that, but it's in the Bible, sister. Just like our demise was in the Bible as well. And we've been living out the portion that's been poured out upon us as far as the curses are concerned. But he let us know he's going to have some mercy on it. It's not going to be this way forever. I even got some good that's coming. But he said, look, you're going to take them servants in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And what's going to happen?
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
Can't read.
And it shall come to pass, and that is the day that the Lord shall give thee rest by sorrow,
and
from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made servant. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the ruler. Right,
but notice what he say though. In verse 3, he says it's going to come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. We haven't experienced that now, have we? But that's what we're looking forward to. That's what's coming, though. That's coming down the pipe soon, sisters and brothers. I mean, just think about this. Like, just really think about it. How is it that we all starting to wake up now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Like, it ain't in reverse, has it? How long you been in the Word, Judy?
22 years.
Has it gone in reverse?
Never.
It's getting bigger, ain't it?
Always.
You see that? Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. So you got to think like, if you ain't in the Word or somebody on the outside looking in, you have to think to yourself, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Because the Lord said it was going to happen, sisters and brothers. And it's taking us down to the end of the world. But it ain't too far off from now, sisters and brothers. The Lord finna bring something entirely new. And at this point, look, hey, Israel going to be at the top now. It's going to come to pass in that day, the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. He said that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Because at this point, look, Satan going to be brought down. In order for us to have 1,000 years of peace on this earth, or a Sabbath day for man on this earth, the only way we're going to be able to do that, you know what got to happen to Satan? Got to take him down. As long as we're going to have some peace on this earth. That's why I look in Revelation chapter 20 to tell you that he's going to be locked in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. But that represents 1,000 years of peace, sisters and brothers. But that got to happen in order for us to start experiencing this day of rest on this earth. Go on and read. What does it say?
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
He who smote the people in the wrath with a continual stroke.
Mm-hmm.
He that ruled the nations in anger, persecuted,
Uh-huh.
none hindered.
Go ahead. What else?
The whole earth is at rest.
Uh-huh.
Quiet.
Notice what it said, though. It said the whole earth is at what?
Rest.
It's at rest.
And it's quiet.
And it's quiet.
They break forth into singing.
Oh, because why? The righteous in rulership now, ain't it? We saw that when the righteous rule, what happened? The people do what? Rejoice, don't they? But it's a lot of sorrow and crying and pain when you got the wicked ruling, sisters and brothers. But now Jesus is coming to rule. Hey, the people going to rejoice. It's going to be a good time. Flip over to Micah chapter 4. Micah 4, going to be opposite also of what we see right now. Right now we're kicking on the law. Not us here, but just mankind. Kicking against the law, but hey, ain't nothing. Listen, this got to be something important to God because it's still going to be around when he returns. So Micah chapter 4, we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Micah 4, verse 1. All right, read that for me.
But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills,
Mm-hmm.
and people shall flow unto it.
Uh-huh. Keep reading.
And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and unto the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths.
Uh-huh.
For the law shall go forth of Zion,
Uh-huh.
and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
But notice what's going to happen now, right? We still talking about the end. You know, as we get toward the last days, and, you know, that's why I say, look, in the last days shall come to pass. I'm letting you know, this is all we know right now. This is going to be, this is coming to an end. And things are getting ready to change. Got some new stuff coming in. He said, but in the last day it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, right? And it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And what else?
And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up into the mountain of the Lord,
Uh-huh.
and to the house of the God of Jacob.
That's right, because you still going to have different governments around and stuff like that. But look, the Lord let you know in Revelation 19, he's going to be the Lord of Lords. And what else? The King of Kings. If there's going to be some kings around, he's going to be the King of Kings. Right. You see? David going to be a king in Jerusalem, but the Lord going to be the king of the world. But you still going to have different, things set up and stuff like that. But hey, you'll be higher than the Lord himself. But he said what? And many nations shall come and say, let us, and come and say, and many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth of Zion, right? And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. But what's going to be around on the table then? The law's still going to be here, ain't it? Law going to be going forth from Jerusalem, coming out of Zion. The law going to go forth from Zion or of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. What is saying in verse 3?
And he shall judge among many people,
Uh-huh.
and rebuke strong nations afar off.
Uh-huh.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
Oh, wait a minute. They going to do what? What they going to do with their swords? You know what plowshares is? Farming equipment. They going to take their sword, because it's backwards now, ain't it? Nowadays, Park had it right. He's exactly right. They got money for war, but can't feed the poor. And I understand why they got money for war and can't feed the poor, because the Lord told them, he said, beat your plowshares into swords. Wake up the mighty men. Tell them all to come on up. But he told them, he said, beat your plowshares into swords, right? That's what he said in Joel. So just think about the mindset of man right now. Is their focus on the poor? Matter of fact, they trying to cut EBT, ain't they? That helped the black man. That helped the black man. I remember when they took ours away. I was like, Lord Jesus. I guess I haven't been working the system for so long. Probably time must come off anyway. Lord, I'm sorry. I don't know why I tell y'all this stuff. Man, them things are heaven, boy. You ain't got to worry about that bill. Shoot, I was like, this reparations is helping me out. You know what I'm saying? Don't take my reparations from me. But the point is that, look, he said what? They ain't got money. You know, Lord told them, beat your plowshares in the sword. And that's exactly what they're doing. They focused on, instead of them worrying about farming and food and stuff like that, they worrying about war equipment. But if you notice what it said beat your plowshares in the sword. Ain't like the Lord was asking them. He told them to do it. And that's what they doing, ain't they? Because when the Lord get back here, they're going to try to fight the Lord. And that's something. But look at what's going to happen after the Lord get back, though. He said what? They going to beat their swords. It's going to be in reverse. They're going to take their swords and turn it into plowshares. They ain't got to worry about them spending their money on war equipment now. Notice how every year they got a defense budget, don't they? Yep. Well, got no money, but how we get all this money for a defense budget? Yeah. But hey, it's going to flip the script when the Lord get back. They're going to have a lot of money for food. Ain't going to be no, like you say, what? They're going to beat their swords into plowshares and what else?
And their spears.
And their spears used for war, killing. They're going to put that into pruning hooks. Turn that into pruning hooks. And what's going to happen, brother?
Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation.
Neither
shall they learn war anymore.
Oh, look at that, though. Hey, you don't know about that. All we see is fighting and war going on right now, don't we? Yes, that's all we see going on. But there's a time coming where all this stuff is about to change. He said what? Nation ain't going to lift up war against, nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Neither shall they learn war anymore. So all that's about to change. But remember, we saw in Matthew 24, looking toward the end, he said, well, you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. That lets you know, hey, that's still in our time under the sun we experiencing right now. Lord get back, he going to flip us all around. He said, neither shall they learn war anymore. What else he say, brother?
But they shall sit, every man under his vine, under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid.
They're going to sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree. Because at this point, everybody going home. This is going to be during the year of Jubilee. Everybody going back home, sisters and brothers. Ain't nobody going to try to, after the Lord tear this place up, ain't nobody going to be trying to restore it and stuff like that. You know, he said it's going to be like a chase road. You know, you see something dead out there in the road, you just leave it alone, don't you? Roadkill. You don't try to pick it up, do you? After the Lord tear this place up, ain't nobody going to try to fix it up. You know how these countries cities try to come back together? You know how the tornado come through the middle of the country and you see the commercials. You know, they show you the sad, sobbing people. And no matter what, they still have the energy and the strength to say, but we gonna rebuild. Not after the Lord tear this place up. You ain't rebuilding. Everybody going back home. They gonna sit still. You ain't rebuilding this. You gonna be like, oh my goodness, hey man, we can't do none of this. He said they gonna sit every man under his vine, under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. We ain't gotta worry about war no more. Ain't nobody gonna make you afraid. What else he say?
For the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken.
Keep reading.
For all people will walk, every one in the name of his God. And we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever.
Right. So we just talking about in this case when he say every man gonna walk after the name of their God. In other words, everybody got a name that they come out from. Like for instance, you got a last name, you got a nation or a man that will represent them. We gonna have somebody represent us. That's gonna be Jesus. You see what I'm saying? We're going to walk in the name of our God. You ain't got to worry about your name being changed to somebody else's father. You know, like right now, your last name what? Smith, right? Hey, that come from a master. You see what I'm saying? You got to worry. We're going to walk in the name of our God. Like everybody else going to walk in the name of their God. But not talking about like false gods. We just talking about like we saw earlier in the Psalms 82. I said you're God. We just talking about men. You see? Right, so now let's go, what it say in verse 7? Read that. Well, 6, I'm sorry.
In that day, said the Lord, will I assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted.
So he going to gather, right? And that day, says the Lord, will I assemble her that halted. Like to the world right now, Israel don't exist as a nation of people, do they? Right. I'm going to assemble, I'm going to bring her back. Because in the mind of the people, in the eyes of the people, we don't exist. So he said, that day saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And what else he going to do?
And I will make her that halted a remnant.
Hey, I'm going to make her that halted a remnant. I'm not going to allow her just to be completely taken out or wiped out, right? I'm going to make her that halted or stop the cease as a nation. I'm going to make her a remnant. What else you say, brother?
And her that was cast far off. Strong nation.
Look, though. Look. Now, notice right now, we the minority, ain't we? But he said, what, he going to make us a strong nation, ain't he? That's what's going to happen in the future. This is what's going to come with this new world, sisters and brothers. He said, what? I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And what else?
And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever.
Oh, hey, so we got something to look forward to. Go with Isaiah chapter 65. Isaiah 65. We're going to pick this up at verse 17. Isaiah 65, verse 17. And when you get that, go and read that for me.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth,
Mm-hmm.
and the former shall not be remembered.
Oh, look at that, though. He said, I create a new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered. Now, this ain't all the way down to the end when the Father come back. But even when Jesus get here, because remember, he's going to be at the helm of this new world order. He's still bringing something new, something that we don't comprehend. Just with long life in itself, we don't understand that. We just know 70 years, ain't it? Look, we look at 85 and 90 as a long time. God bless us to live a long time. Look, that is nothing in the eyes of God, though. But when he starts implementing this long life and bringing that back to the table, look, hey, that's something completely new for us. Clean up the world, make things a lot better than what it is. Hey, that's something new to us. So read that verse again, brother.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth,
Uh-huh.
and the former shall not be remembered.
Uh-huh. Keep
nor
reading.
come into mind.
Oh, hey, you don't even remember the former things. He said the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. Read verse 20.
There shall be no more of this an infant of days,
You see that? It ain't going to be no more of this an infant of days. Keep reading.
nor an old man that hath not filled his days.
Uh-huh.
For the child shall die 100 years old,
Uh-huh.
but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed.
Now, you see what's coming? You see what's coming? He said what? He said there should be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die how old?
100 years
100 years old. That is nothing, ain't it? You gonna, hey, God gonna, hey, before you gonna get to see 100 years old, and the sinner gonna make it to 100 years old. Didn't he say that? He said, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. So you gotta fix it. He gonna give you some time. But we can't imagine that right now, can we? But this is what's coming. Bringing long life to the table, sisters and brothers. Be 75 years old. How old are you? Oh, man, I'm 82. Oh, you still a baby. You still a baby. Imagine that. You know, 82 and 90 is the age of being an elder right now, right? You talking about I'm 105. Oh, man, you still got milk behind you, man. Because, look, man, we're going to be dealing with God who deals with eternity. You understand? But hey, we can't imagine that, can we? You know, I just asked God to give me I want the body like Moses had. Ain't nothing happened to Moses. He was straight. Yeah. I wish we could have that, you know. But hey, Moses was up there dealing with God, though, so that was something different there, boy. But he says, I'm not going to be this and infinite days, nor an old man that have not filled his days, for the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. What it say in verse 21?
They shall build houses.
Notice what Israel going to do, right? He said they're going to build houses and inhabit them. You ain't got to worry about building it for somebody else, right? Because that's what happened during our captivity. So he said they're going to build houses and inhabit them. What else?
They shall plant vineyards
and
eat the fruit.
Right, so look, whatever you reap, you're going to sow. You ain't got to worry about you planting this stuff and somebody else getting it. Right. He said they're going to plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. What else?
They shall not build and another inhabit.
I'm sorry, skip down to verse 24. But we ain't got to worry about that. But it mainly said the same thing in 21. But go ahead, 24, what it say, brother?
And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer.
Look, hey, you ain't even got to ask. The Lord gonna already know. That's a complete opposite of the Lord making your heaven iron and the earth underneath your feet brass. Or how he said in Leviticus. You know, it's like there's going to be trouble on every side for you when you go into this captivity. But it's going to be a complete opposite when the Lord returns. He said it's going to come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And what else?
And while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
Go ahead.
The wolf and the lamb shall feed together.
Keep reading.
And the lion shall eat straw like the bullock.
And that's something. He said, what the wolf and the lamb shall feed together. You know, that's not common nowadays. You know, with some wolves, man, he trying to kill the sheep. That's why you got a shepherd. That's why the Lord told you to beware wolves and lions' clothing. He said sheep clothing. Right, because why? They can come real sneaky because they trying to get the sheep.
Right.
So automatically, that should let you know, hey, that's not a common occurrence. Well, wolf and the sheep hanging out together, right? Well, when the Lord come back, guess what? They're going to be rolling tight like they buddies. He said, look, the wolf and the lamb shall feed together. What else?
And the lion shall eat straw like the bullock.
And we know that's what you call them, hunters? I can't even figure that word out. Say it again. A predator, yeah. I think it's scavenger the birds, ain't it? Yeah. Right, exactly. That's it. Right. Predator is more like what I'm looking for. So he say what? The lion, he gonna eat straw like the bullock. He ain't gonna be killing like he's known to tear things up now, right? But he gonna be eating straw like the bullock. And what else?
And thus shall be the serpent's meat.
Right, so you ain't got to worry about getting bit by a snake. Go ahead and read. What else?
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountains, saith the Lord.
Flip over to Isaiah chapter 11. We almost done. Isaiah chapter 11. Going to be a real good time, man. Isaiah chapter 11. But we just want to look at these things to see this is the real new world order that we need to be worrying about, that we need to be concerned about. And when you think about it, hey, really, it's a joy. You know what I'm saying? We turned it into, because we're looking at man to set up a new war. We so focused on him. What about God and what he about to set up? This is the real new world that's coming. There's nothing new about presidents changing power. Everything stays the same, but a different face. But the same agenda is going forward. So what's new about that? Just because we came over to America's 200, 300, 400, how many years old? Look, that still ain't what God got coming to this earth. That was new for somebody else. That was for them to come over and start building over here. And they brought some slaves to build it up for them. It wasn't new for us. We were still in captivity. Because we was in captivity over there before we came over here. That's how the idea got into their mind to, hey, can we have some of your slaves? So it wasn't new for us. We didn't get the benefit. Don't get me wrong, it ain't as bad as it was, though. You know, like what our forefathers experienced. But look, this wasn't set up for us. You know what I'm saying? Every time we ride up, down 75, coming to Jacksonville, we see them cotton fields out there, man. Riding through Vardar, and I just think about what our ancestors went through, man. You know, so you have a daily reminder every day to let you know, look, man, you came here as a slave, came as a punishment, to serve out a punishment for us disobeying God. That's what happened with some of us. We come here and we think that we free because you see a few people that are successful. But all of us ain't successful as a nation. The majority of this nation of people is struggling, sisters and brothers. That's why I say I'm poor. But I know I ain't like some people, but I'm just saying I'd rather say I'm poor than to say I'm rich. Because I'd rather say I'm at the bottom because I understand what happened to us, sisters and brothers. But I include all of us in this, my whole family in this thing. You know, we look at all your Michael Jordans and your Oprah Winfrey's and stuff like they sharing that with us. I ain't getting none of that money. I ain't getting nothing. You getting a break up? They sending you some bread? They say, y'all gotta work hard every day on. Exactly, man. They chilling. We ain't. But right, exactly, man. They don't even know what that is. They don't even know what that is, man. I remember I used to be ashamed to tell people about that. Then, me and JD got cool. JD be like, he didn't care. You know, I say, well, shoot, I don't either. You know, but like I said, I worked the system too long. He was like, let's get that back. Isaiah chapter 9, pick it up at verse 6. I was like, dang, man. I was really doing good. I like that, boy. Isaiah 11, verse 6, what it say, brother?
The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child
Oh, you see that? So we got these animals that are hanging out. You know, something that's not common, especially in our day and time. We gonna see this going on in the future, sisters and brothers. But who gonna be leading them though? A little child. But just imagine that. Notice the change that is coming. The wolf also gonna dwell with the lamb. The leopard gonna lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion, and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. That's what's gonna happen all when the Lord get back, setting things up anew. What is Psalm 7, brother?
And the cow and the bear shall feed.
Mm-hmm.
Their young ones shall lie down together.
Uh-huh.
And the lion shall eat straw like the ox.
Uh-huh. Keep reading.
And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the set of the asp.
Uh-huh.
And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den.
That's right. Hey, the sucking child gonna play on the hole of the asp. That's talking about a snake's hole. And the weaned child gonna put his hand on the cockatrice den. You know, ain't nothing gonna happen. Go ahead and read. What else?
They shall not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain.
Uh-huh.
For the earth shall be full of knowledge of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the waters cover the sea.
Right, just like the waters cover the sea. Hey, this is how the knowledge of the Lord gonna cover this earth, sisters and brothers. That's why I say, look, they shall not hurt nor destroy them out in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. What is that in verse 10?
And in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an sign of the people.
Mm-hmm.
To it shall the Gentiles seek,
Uh-huh.
and his rest shall be glory.
Uh-huh. So look, in that day it's gonna be shall be a root of Jesse. You know what that root of Jesse is? That's Jesus.
Yeah.
That's who's gonna be here in that time. But it ain't gonna be Father, right? Right, it's gonna be Jesus. That's why he's the one that's gonna be at the helm of this new order that's coming.
Right.
Now he starts it off, but when the Father come, hey, he gonna finish off when he bring this new Jerusalem down from the sky. And actually, hey, death ain't gonna be no more of that at all. That's why I say Jesus at the helm of the new world order. He's at the beginning he's starting this thing off, controlling this thing. But now that's it on that. Let's go over to Isaiah chapter 9. Just showing you, hey, now as we finish this, Jesus is the one that's going to order this thing to set it up. Going to pass it right down to the Father. One page backwards. One chapter back. Isaiah 9. Pick it up at verse 6. What does it say, brother?
For to us a child is born.
Uh-huh.
Unto us a son is given.
Uh-huh. And we know this Jesus, right? But let's got some things that come with him. We say, unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. And what's going to happen?
And the government should be upon his shoulder.
Right, but was it upon his shoulders when he came? It wasn't, was it? See, we just got a long prophecy that's happening right here. But when he came, look, that didn't happen. Now it just made sense in Acts chapter 1. They was asking him, when was he going to, set the kingdom up? Man, he told him, look, don't worry about that. But they was looking for him to go ahead and do it, wasn't he? Why? Because it was talking about him. That's the one who was going to do it. But it wasn't at that time. Now he's getting ready to do it as we, the world's coming to the end now. Hey, the Lord is getting ready to come, and guess what? Now you're going to see the government being put on his shoulders. For unto us a child is born, a son is given, the government shall be upon his shoulder. And what else?
And his name should be called Wonderful, Counselor,
Keep reading.
the Mighty God, the Everlasting
Uh-huh.
Father, the Prince of Peace.
Right, so the Prince of Peace, another name for Prince is also King. And you look at Prince of Peace, a King. You look at, matter of fact, you have Melchizedek. Melchizedek just being a title. You understand? I like to look at Melchizedek like an umbrella. And you put up under that umbrella King of Salem, priest of the Most High God, right? But who you think this King of Salem is? That Prince of Peace, because Salem means peace. Jerusalem is just city of peace. But hey, this is the same person. He said what? The mighty God, the everlasting Father, the only God man has ever known, sisters and brothers, responsible for this creation. This is why he's considered the Father. One reason why. But he said what? The everlasting Father. Like I said, you don't know nobody else. We don't know. We ain't never talked to the Father. He even told you that himself when he came in the flesh. But look, we're not going to jump over him and get to God the Father. Right. It's not going to work like that. We got to deal with him, right? The government going to be upon his shoulder. His name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. What does it say in verse 7?
Of the increase of government and peace, there should be no end.
That's right, because look now, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. Once he come, it's not like he going to just set the kingdom up for 1,000 years and then it's going to end. After the 1,000 years complete. It's not, hey, it's going to be a smooth transition. welcoming the Father to the earth, sisters and brothers. Of the increase of his government and peace, there should be no end. What else?
Upon the throne of David.
Uh-huh.
And upon his kingdom to order.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the only order you need to worry about, ain't it? He said, what? Upon the throne of David. So where's that at? Where did they rule from? Jerusalem. That's where he's going to sit at. Not in the sky. Not taking us off to heaven nowhere. He going to come rule on this earth, sisters and brothers. He said, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it. That's what we need to be focused on. That's the new world that's coming. He gonna order it. It's gonna. As a matter of fact, he said it, and it's gonna happen. But man, like it or not, it's gonna take place. There should be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order and establish it with judgment. Wait a minute. How you gonna do it? What? With judgment. Keep reading.
And with justice from henceforth, even forever.
Uh-huh. So look, we ain't got to worry about this, everything being tilted, the scales of justice. They ain't in our favor right now. You understand? We ain't got to worry about that when the Lord get back. He said he going to establish his kingdom. That's what he's talking about with judgment. He going to establish it with judgment, but I'm saying he was referring to the kingdom. With judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. Letting you know, hey, it's not going to stop. Once the Lord come and set this kingdom up, that's it for man. As far as, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Remember, it's just passed down. So that's going to be it for man ruling. We dropped the ball, haven't we? All of us have.
Yeah.
And, we like to point at the white man. That's still our brother. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, and what happened when we had the ball? We dropped it too, didn't we? But we the only ones still getting beat, though, for dropping the ball. Israel, my goodness. We've been getting it for a long time, man. That's why we need this. We need this change. But he said, from henceforth, even forever, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And we got one more place after this, and that'll be all. Julius, you got an announcement for him? Got it? He said you had it. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. We're going to pick this up at verse 24. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 24. We're going to read that for me.
Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God,
Mm-hmm.
even the Father.
Oh, wait a minute. He said, then come the end, when he shall have done what? Delivered up the kingdom to who?
To God.
To God. See, that's why I told you, look, he going to start it off, ain't he?
Yes, sir.
He going to start it off. The end is coming. When it's all said and done, like we got to go through 1,000 years. Matter of fact, we got to go through all the different things that's going to take place first. The Great Tribulation down to Armageddon going to take us into Jesus starting to rule on this earth. He going to rule on this earth for 1,000 years. Once the 1,000 years is complete, then you know what's happening, right? Satan going to be cast to the bottom of this pit with the beast and the false prophet. Then judgment day going to take place. Right. After judgment day is complete and everybody is, sent or rewarded to their respective places, either you did good unto life, evil unto death, going to hit the lake of fire. Everybody go to their respective places. Now, hey, the Father is getting ready to come. That's why I say, then come the end. When he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For what? Verse 25.
He must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet.
Oh, wait a minute. He must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. So Jesus got to make sure everything is taken care of before the Father returns. He got to reign and rule, which is what that means, till all enemies are put on his feet. Like I told you, look, we need a new world. We are in bondage, whether we know it or not. And even if you say, well, I ain't no slave, I have escaped that, I ain't got to worry about that, because you may have some other nations believe that they ain't got no slavery going on, which they, for the most part, don't. We have the slavery going on, right? We are at the bottom of the totem pole doing all the work and just can't seem to get ahead. I see how other nationalities come into the country and they just get ahead. And it's just amazing to me that nobody sees this. Just like y'all don't see that? And like you still try to make yourself a part of the prosperity of this nation, and we not. You've been here all these years, you can't get a grant. You got loans, you got to jump through all these hoops, and you more likely ain't gonna get it. Or if you get it, it's a small percentage. Or they're gonna make it super hard for you to get it. by putting together things that you can't understand. But however, you have other nations come in, even Africans come in from other countries and get on just like that. So they can, you know, they can say, well, we don't experience what y'all experience, but I guarantee you this, you can't escape that oppression of death. That's why it says here, look, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is what?
Yeah.
It's death. That's the last one. But this covers not just Israel, it covers every man, don't it? That's why it's important that we can't be preaching to people that salvation is just for Israel. And that don't make sense, man. You go to the graveyard, you see all type of nationalities that have been buried out there. You see, it's a bigger salvation that's needed for this man. And it's that death that needs to be brought off of us. But the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. What it say in verse 27?
For he has put all things under his feet.
Uh-huh.
When he says all things are put under him,
Uh-huh.
it is manifest that he is accepted,
Uh-huh.
which did put all things under him.
That's right. So, hey, even he going to fall in line. Jesus himself showing form of humility, sisters and brothers. For he hath put all things under his feet, but when he say all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. What is 28?
And when all things shall be subdued unto him,
Uh-huh.
then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him,
Uh-huh. Keep reading.
that God may be in all in all.
Oh, okay. So now, look, God is in the picture now, the Father, right? So now let's go to Revelation chapter 21. We're going to wrap this up. This is it. But now the Father's in the picture, and let's see what he going to bring now. Revelation chapter 21. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Because this is the only thing we need to worry about. What's coming, what God has coming to this earth. Listen, you can live, like they say, Duval, from Duval. Like you say what? You know, live your best life. I ain't got time for you. Ninjas. But look here, man. I mean, we think about it. Hey, you ain't got no choice but to do that. But that don't mean you got to be a whore. That ain't mean you got to commit adultery. That ain't mean you got to steal, does it? You're just talking about, hey, you just take advantage of every moment that God is giving you. You understand? All this stuff, hey, like you say, the evil today is sufficient thereof. We ain't got to just try to worry about every minute, every second. That's all you need to focus on, what you have in front of you. But God is bringing something else. Don't let, and even if it ain't you, for people who are off into, all this conspiracy stuff, look, man, there's something better that's coming. We ain't got to even be worried about that. We saw the focus, what the Lord told you, to preach the gospel, did he? Until the end of the world. Didn't he say that? He said, go ye and teach all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Then later on he said, I'm with you always, even until the end of the world. So your focus needs to be what? Making sure we focus on the mission. Serving God. If you in preaching to God, hey, listen, we need to let our light shine. The Lord going to take care of powers that be, that are behind the scenes and doing things we can't see. The Lord going to take care of that. But we should be looking forward to this real new kingdom that's coming. Revelation chapter 21, pick it up at verse 1. What does it say, brother?
And I saw a new heaven,
Uh-huh.
a new earth.
Oh, we got something new again, don't we? But see, this is what the Father's bring. Remember now, Jesus is doing. He's going to pass it over to the Father, right? That God may be all in all. Then he say what? Because now the Father is on his way. He said, I saw a new heaven and a new earth for what?
The first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
Uh-huh. Keep reading.
And there was no more sea.
That's right. And when, some people say, well, look, see, this is talking about ain't no more flesh and blood. Look, when you see heaven and earth and sea together, in the beginning, you seen it like that. So in the sense, this is like a new beginning. But when it say no more sea, we ain't just talking about, ain't going to be no more sea. You know what the sea is, right? The gathering of waters together. It didn't say it wasn't going to be no more water. It just may not be no more big Atlantic oceans. That's all. But it's heaven, earth, and sea. It's not heaven, earth, and fleshly body. That ain't what it's talking about. But it's like that beginning starting all over again. Like you had that beginning in Genesis, didn't you? You had a beginning, you had heaven, earth, and sea. Exodus chapter 20, you see heaven, earth, and sea together. Now you see heaven and earth, and he said it was there no more sea, but he didn't say it wasn't no more water, though. That's what people say. Oh, look, that ain't what it just ain't gonna be no more. In a sense, big bodies of water. Yeah, that's it. What he say in verse 2, though?
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven.
Oh, hey, New Jerusalem coming down, ain't it? We so focused on going up, but God is coming. He bringing New Jerusalem. He gonna lead him up there? No, hey, he coming down. So that let me know you ain't going that way. But he said what? John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. What else?
Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Keep reading.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying.
Right, because remember he said, I go to prepare a place for you, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Where I go, you cannot come. But now you seeing it. You seeing it come. That's why I say, look, and now John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Then he said, when I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, what?
The tabernacle of God is with men.
Oh, now you get to see the Father. The tabernacle of God is with men, and what else?
And he will dwell with them. And the people shall be his
Wait, slow down.
And they shall be his people.
Oh, wait a minute. He's going to dwell with them. Now the Father's bringing his tabernacle. He bringing it down to this earth now. Then he said what? And they shall be his people. And what else?
And God himself shall be with them.
And
be their God.
That's right. Keep reading.
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Oh, wait a minute. He going to do what?
Wipe all tears from their eyes.
Right, but you don't see that going on with the change of power between men having. It seems like more crime going on, ain't it? Everybody started crying when Trump got it, didn't they? And then before that, you had white people crying about Obama. Oh, God. So everybody crying. Now, when the Lord get back, he wiping all these tears away. Because we got a real new world coming. But Jesus going to jump it off. He said, God should wipe all tears from their eyes, and what else?
And there should be no more death.
Oh, wait a minute now. Because that's what you know as man. We understand death. That's all we comprehend. From being a baby born all the way up to late age, you've seen death. People that you've known, grandparents, parents, you've known what? They have died. Because that's what we know as man. That's what's been given with this sin. The wages of sin is death, and this is what's been happening with man. But guess what? When the Father come at the end of it all, ain't going to be no more death. Isn't that something? Ain't going to be no more death. He said he's going to wipe away all their tears from their eyes, and there should be no more death. What else?
No sorrow.
No
crying.
Oh, ain't going to be no more crying? Go ahead and read. What else, brother?
Neither shall there be any more pain.
Ain't gonna even be no more pain. For what?
The former things are passed away.
Skip down to verse 6 and read that.
And he said unto me, It is done.
Because that's it, man. He said it, at the end of it, he said it is done. I am what?
Alpha and Omega. The beginning and the end.
Keep reading.
I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life free.
That sounds like back at the beginning, ain't it? Instead of water of life for fountain freely, you had a tree of life, didn't you? You see what I'm saying? So it's like we starting all over again. Right. But you still got an opportunity to everlasting life here now. All you got to do is look, just imagine if we just ate from the tree of life the whole time, not messing with Satan. So we done went all the way around the world and got right back to where it's supposed to be in the first place. Full circle. But he said what? He said unto me, it is done. I'm Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is the thirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. If you're drinking from that water of life, what you think gonna happen to you? You ain't gonna have nothing but life in you. You understand? That's why it's so important to make sure we dealing with this word of God, because this word of God is gonna spring up into everlasting life, sisters and brothers. But bring it up to verse 5. What do you say, brother?
And he that sat upon the throne said, I will make all things new.
Oh, wait a minute. He said, he that sit upon the throne said, I will do what?
Make all things
I
new.
make all things new. That's the concern right there, sisters and brothers. That's what we need to be focused on. Forget all what man got going on. That's old. We need to worry about what God has coming. Behold, I make all things new. Keep reading.
And he said unto me, Right. For these words are true and faithful.
I hope somebody got some understanding of Jesus now. That announcement.
Our prayers that the eyes of your understanding were enlightened by the day's lesson. DVDs and CDs of the lesson are available. Please place your order in the offering box along with your donation and pick up your DVD, CVD at the podium next Saturday. Please tune in to Thy Kingdom Come television program, which airs in various locations. Also, join us for question and answer Bible study in about an hour from now. And every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, via live stream and a teleconference at 860-970-0010. Access code 343-531-4639. £3 If you feel you are ready to be baptized, please sign the baptismal list at the podium or speak with Brother Tony and or Brother Anthony. On the first Sunday of every month, we broadcast the Bible in plain view. This broadcast gives brothers an opportunity to read and or teach a short 30-minute class. If you are interested in helping, please let us know. The following is the dress code for our services. All clothing should be modest in appearance. Nothing tight-fitting, overly baggy, sagging, or revealing should be worn. Men are to remove hats and all head coverings, and women should wear a head covering such as a hat or scarf, according to 1 Corinthians 11, verses 1 through 7. If your young child becomes noisy during the lesson, distracting other members, please remove him or her to the other room next door. Any tithes or free will offerings should be put in an offering envelope, placed in the offering box at the podium. Pray for our strength as we pray for you. Until next Sabbath. Peace.
Peace. All right. First and foremost, I want to ask y'all to pray for Brother DeMarcus. He lost his brother this week, so he should be down his way today. Well, not here, but Tallahassee. So y'all keep him in your prayers. We got my brother's keepers retreat that we're working on right now. So more likely we're gonna be going in November. So we got a few things. I think Brother Elijah is gonna meet us halfway, as far as the price of it is concerned. And so next week I'm gonna talk with the brothers up in Atlanta, and we all gonna probably come in and chip in and finish off the other half. But for y'all down here, since y'all are not that big, y'all more than welcome. You know what I'm saying? Because once Jacksonville get established, we hope the same thing start picking up down here. We set retreats up. Y'all can go chill. Sisters set things up. It's going to grow. So just keep that in mind. But y'all definitely welcome to partake in the thing with us. I think it's probably going to be in November after the feast. Yeah, so we're going to try to do it before it get too cold. You know what I'm saying? But right after the feast. And it's going to be like right after the Sabbath. Right after Sabbath, we're probably going to be going up, I think, in the mountains up there. And we're going to stay all day that Sunday and then come back that Monday morning. So y'all would like to, maybe y'all spend a weekend up there with us, you know what I'm saying? You probably have to take work off and stuff like that to get back, But it's going to be a good time. And it was definitely needed because, like in Atlanta, like I say, we just trying to get things set up before the church grow too big. You know what I'm saying? We almost about to start busting out the church. We're going to have to move somewhere soon. But we just don't want it to be like a revolving door. So eventually when y'all start getting things rolling, hopefully y'all pick up the same, different things down here too, because you don't want to have the church. I understand we keep Sabbath and stuff, and I understand when the truth. But at the same time, I noticed some things we did in the church. I mean, I know I talk a lot about the churches and stuff like that, because in a sense, I can't say I'm hurt by it. I can just say it's a lot of stuff that went on that I saw, and a lot of faking. I'm sure y'all saw it too. You know what I'm saying? However, there was a lot of things that I see now. In hindsight, I can say, well, maybe we can implement this. Maybe we can implement this. Like, we probably gonna implement a quarterly brunch at the church. You know what I'm saying? Up in Atlanta, probably gonna do that soon. We're probably gonna set up a couples retreat soon and stuff like that. Like, we just had a brothers getaway a few weeks ago, where we went and did the paintball thing, and also did right after that we had dinner and stuff like that. So we just trying to do different things, you know what I'm saying, as we get bigger. Because one thing I do know about the churches is, like, people like the fellowship. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like, if you come into the church and you have older people come, if you ain't got nothing going on, they feel left out. And I had to understand that and I had to realize that because they coming out of churches where they've been connected. You see what I'm saying? So we come into the word and it just feel like, well, we don't need to do nothing. We just need to get to church on the Sabbath. And that's the base of it. That's the foundation of it. And then on top of that, as a family, then we gonna operate as a family. You know what I'm saying? So trying to learn how to fellowship outside of just a Sabbath day. You know what I'm saying? So eventually that stuff will be coming down here, Lord willing. Marcus brings some different ideas and stuff. Julius, you know what I'm saying, y'all brothers put y'all heads together and stuff like that. You know, Judy, you've been around for a while, so I'm quite sure you've seen different ideas on how to make things work, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's it on that. I would like to speak to y'all brothers right quick. If you can end that online, we love y'all. But we just gonna end this, we're gonna close out. But I just wanna holler at y'all brothers about something. No, you can sit down. I'm talking to y'all before we close out. I just didn't want to put this out online. Done?
It's been frozen since like,
Is it stopped though?
yeah, it's been stopped like 45 minutes ago, bro.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay.